We're here. We're live. Everything is going entirely according to plan and is well. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to The Long March. I am not Encounter Will. I'm not a D&D sex icon. More of an understudy, as it were. We're here today playing another episode of Kingmaker, which is our third season of The Long March. Super exciting to have a great cast. So let's go around and meet them, find out who we've got today. Who should we pick out first? You know who I'm going to pick out. It's Tall Squall. As we were just talking about him in chat. Tall Squall, who are you, and why should we care?
I'm Tall Squall. You really shouldn't care. You shouldn't bother whatsoever. But I am here having fun playing some Dungeons and Dragons with all my buddies. And today for this, I am Calvin Horton, who is here to just charm your socks off as he just bards his way around this horrible, wet, dark, grim edgelord place that Encounter Josh has made up for it. So for us all to experience. I can't wait to get into it. I believe we just had, like, you know, the torturer of one of our party members join up with party. So I'm sure that's going to be lots of fun. And yeehaw, let's go. Absolutely. Speaking of torture and terrible things, we have Laura Lania with us today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing just swell. Oh, what's this? A cosplay? You noticed? Wow, thank you so much. I put so much effort into today. So amazing. I'm Laura Lania. I'm playing a bratty 14-and-a-half-year-old human fighter who has a penchant for trouble and recently just got off the torture rack, which is why I was making all the torture jokes and stuff. Indeed. I am super excited because Tuesday is my favorite day and it's D&D day, so let's do this.
Indeed. And speaking of people trying to get off scot-free, we have someone who is running from terrible, terrible repercussions of her being a mage of Breckendale. Just the worst, really. And as though, although she's never been charged per se, let's go over and have a little chat with her. That is, of course, Little Cup of Joe. How you doing?
Yes, I am great. I'm Jess, Little Cup of Joe, and I'm playing Lucy, who probably has the worst life at the moment. She's on the run because she is a mage, and that's literally the only reason.
It is. When you make a character in Long March, you take as a background worst life ever. There's no choice or anything. There's no like charlatan or soldier. It's just worst life ever, and that is
that is the default background for the Long March.
Indeed. So, without further ado, we're going to show you guys quickly before we jump in. We've got a couple of things to get out of the way first. Before we begin today's show, I will remind you that we are indeed sponsored by Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All the beautiful maps you see and all the roles going on in the little box down below me are indeed in Fantasy Grounds. You can check out Fantasy Grounds for free, and you can trial it on fantasygrounds.com. I'll post links in chat for you guys. Finally, you can also get your miniature needs at Wayland Games. We are running a thing with them, so if you go to waylandgames.co.uk, you can get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer 40k models, which is super sexy. So when you get to roll dice in real life, you get to have a lot of fun with that. Speaking of real life dice, I've lost my real life dice. That's terrible. I have no idea where they are. There they are. They're right next to me.
I have dice right here. Talk about dice. Look at them. Yay!
Indeed. You can go to D&Dice and get yourself some sexy. Look at them. Look how they glitter. Isn't it beautiful? Indeed.
So pretty.
I've been killing people with those for a little while now, and I'm super satisfied with them. Get your murder weapons at D&Dice. Finally, I will tell you how you can interact today with the wonderful show. You can first of all hit that follow button if you haven't already. When we hit 20 followers for the day, we'll get a viewer decision in, and you guys can get to decide what is going on. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll have throw it out to you some questions, and you guys tell me how I make their lives horrible. We also do the same for retweets, so there is a tweet that will be up. I will post a link to it shortly, and you can go hit retweet And if you do, once we hit 20 retweets, we will also have another viewer decision. Other than that, you can donate through the course of the day to give players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, and all manner of craziness there, which will be super exciting. But without further ado, we will delve now into the horror that is the Long March. Down a man, and well, that's always good news when you lose a party member. Never split the party unless Will is currently floating through the air on a plane, unable to play. I don't see why he can't join. Like, I feel like he's just being lazy, but that's neither here nor there. So we are going.
He never puts in any work. He's just the laziest guy I know in Dungeons and Dragons. Will, how are you not here working right now? Shame on you.
Shame indeed. So, does anyone feel up to doing a recap, or am I going for it?
It's you.
It's me, okay.
Have at it.
Right. On guard, as they say. So, last week, we saw the party members be confronted by a specific individual, Stavros. He is the local spy master for the Kingdom of Rivercroft, second to the Prince. And currently, it comes to light, is in charge as the Prince is missing. The coronation for the Prince to Anointing King will be in 2 days' time, and people are coming from all corners of the continent to come and pay their respects to the young king, who's quite sort of inexperienced, never really had that responsibility of leading people before the age of sort of 15. So this is going to be a very daunting day for him, but he seems to have skipped out on it as he went to meet with the New Freefields Coalition, which is a group that is currently illegally occupying 2/3 of his country in the south, and has taken it upon themselves to feed the people. They are stockpiling food supplies, and they have promised all surrounding kingdoms and towns that they will ship food out to make sure that as few people starve as possible. But a lot of people now, as the famine sets in and really digs its claws in, are desperate for surplus, for excess, and that greed sort of digs into people's bellies and into people's minds. So there's a lot of tension there. Ahead of the coronation, the Prince thought it best to try and meet with the New Freefields Coalition, and upon his him being crowned as the king, him come before the many diplomats and advisors, anxious to see what his relationship is like with the NFFC, and he has decided that he's going to go out ahead of schedule and form an alliance or an understanding with them so they emerge from a position of power. This has not gone to plan, as the royal convoy has been ambushed, with only 2 people managing to break away from the ambush, one of which perished, the other one currently in the care of some, we'll call them friends of the party. And the party has been told to head to Farmer's Rest, which is a city, or a small town even, on the northern edge of the New Freefields territory, and investigate what it was that happened to the Prince and whether or not he's still alive. That was about where we left off as the party got back together, but you have picked up, per your request, chat, a torturer. The torturer who was interrogating Sarah for trespassing into the castle in the first place. He has been sent by Stavros as backup, as a guide, as insurance, as something, and has just entered the room with Curtis. So, everyone is gathered in... Whose room are you guys all in? I put you all in a room together, but is it...
Sarah was sleeping, I think? No, she was working on her costume, and that's when he walked in? Or are they all downstairs still?
Well, yeah, no, we brought him up because we didn't know who he was. I think it was me and Curtis.
Oh, no, Calvin.
Right,
Calvin is not... Calvin is the only one who isn't there.
Yeah,
Calvin,
I'm back at the Silver Serpent with the with the drow.
Calvin's a little busy.
Right.
I see you.
He was singing songs.
Tree.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, split
Indeed.
the party.
Calvin is seducing.
Even better. Great.
Calvin is seducing a drow, which is always a smart move to make. So, the rest of the party is gathered in, we'll say in Little Cup of Joe's room. You guys are all in Lucy's room, and as you're working on
and the
your
torturer
outfit,
has just walked in.
Sarah, yeah, the torturer walks in.
Oh boy.
And says, "Now, let's try that again."
What in the fuck is he doing here?
Who is this?
Curtis looks from him to you, and you two know each other.
I put on just a cold glare, but I don't acknowledge whether or not I know him verbally, but she's not exactly hiding her anger on her face. She waits to see if he says anything.
Sarah, do you know who this is?
He works at the castle, he does.
We were
Right,
pretty
that's
acquainted.
highly unspecific. Why are you here?
Well, we have a mutual
Come to
friend.
finish the job, eh?
I did finish the job. You were set free.
All right, I'm a little confused. What exactly is going on here?
I'm
did
an
you do?
associate of Stavros, and I've been sent to
Obviously.
aid you.
Wonderful. In what capacity exactly?
A helpful one. And he.
I don't think you could be of much help on the field. I think that I could take you, and I'm just a little girl. Probably the only way you could take me is if you had some sort of advantage on me.
He
Sarah, let's
grins.
try not
She
to...
stands, putting her feet like shoulder width apart, her hand on her sword, just pissed.
He looks at the girl in front of him, chuckles, and he takes a step inside, reaching into his pack and pulling out what is essentially a sleeping bag, and just chucks it in between Lucy's bed and Curtis's bed.
All right, so you've been sent by Stavros to assist us. You seem to know Sarah in a very hostile capacity. I think we're going to need to sort that out before we set out.
No
Is this going to be a
hostilities.
problem?
He reaches over and ruffles Sarah's hair.
It kind of... She doesn't make a move and just tenses. The next time you do that, you're going to lose your hand.
And I'm not going to stop her. I would recommend you don't do that.
Looks at the people gathered in the room and... Well, that's not much of a welcome. And he rolls out his sleeping mat and lays down, stretching, adjusting his sword so it sits more comfortably, but he doesn't take any of his armor off or anything like that.
Right then. So, apparently you're here. You're staying. What was your name?
Duran.
Duran. All right. Well met. I'm Lucy. You obviously already have met Curtis, and you seem to know Sarah. So.
And Calvin is out gallivanting around town, so yeah, we're
Apparently.
acquainted. I guess the rest.
Of course.
And
Sarah
without any
goes to
further
her part of the
disclosure,
bed. Sarah pretends to sleep, but is unable to with him so close to her. But we'll try to fake it.
Roll me a deception check.
Woo! Hey, no. So that's right. Grab it from the doodle. Put it on the doodle. That is not a good roll.
Okay, so Sarah goes and makes herself uncomfortable. Lucy, you notice Calvin walks in. Curtis walks in and makes himself asleep, unconscious. He makes himself unconscious as he
he goes to sleep.
Into a deep slumber.
Right. Crowded in here. But if there's room, Lucy will settle in and do a little bit of studying in her not spell book, but a little writing in her book for the time being. And just kind of maybe wait and see if any sounds of Calvin coming back up or if she hears anybody go by.
As you down and begin to write, some time goes past. After a little while, he sits up, looks over at Sarah. If we're going to be traveling together, you really do need to learn to sleep when you can.
Why?
Because you need to save your strength.
No,
So,
I
if
mean,
I do
why
try
in the
and-
fuck are you here?
You really thought Stavros was just going to trust this to you on faith?
So you're here to police us, is that it?
No, I'm here to keep you alive and tell the tale to him.
Oh, so he hires us, using that term quite loosely, for this little expedition, and then sends us a babysitter because he doesn't think we can handle it? Is that exactly how I'm understanding this?
I mean, I wasn't going to say babysitter.
I see. Well,
How nice.
That's all right. You can go back to Stavros and tell him what a great job we've done, she says with a kind of fire in her eyes. Kid being given a purpose again. The only way I can relate it is think like Pokemon trainer about to head out into the world for the first time. She just seals herself like
turns her baseball cap to the back.
yeah. As you know, she's given the opportunity to show off in front of him, so she's just like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna work the shit out of this job. I'll show him. I'll show you.
She like points towards the castle when talking about sort of going back to Stavros, like, you can tell Stavros we did a great job. Very dramatic. And he
Okay, someone make a
shrugs.
Pokemon version of Long March song, go.
And finally, he sighs and just says, everyone needs to get some fucking rest. And pulls it up across him, sort of the covers, and falls instantly into a soundless sleep.
Oh, go ahead and get some sleep, Sarah. I'm going to wait up just a little bit longer, and I shall do likewise. Curtis seems quite comfortable, so there's that.
Do you think that maybe I could just sit with you for a bit while you read to me so that I can learn stuff? It's obvious she doesn't want to learn stuff. She's scared of sleeping with him in the room. And she will just kind of sit next to you, and over the course of time, as you're reading or studying, will loll off until she's eventually, until she's asleep in your lap.
Yeah, Lucy will accommodate and just read some of her draft entries of some of the stories that she's gotten collected in her book.
I can imagine Lucy.
Till she falls asleep.
I can imagine Lucy picking like the really dry stories and reading them in monotone, just to like make sure that she's true. Like, okay, I'll read to you. It was a wonderful day when.
Yeah, she finds like something that's from some an old soldier that just is not the most exciting camp stories. And once Sarah has fallen asleep, she'll lay her down on the bed and then settle in next to her to also go to sleep.
As you get some rest, we'll cut away to Calvin. Calvin, you find yourself in the company of a moon elf male and a drow female, sat in the wonderful little tavern slash brothel.
Tavern.
That is the Silver Serpent. The air is thick with smoke. You've just finished your set. Made it through one song before there were people dragging you off stage for your attention. And the hustle and bustle has returned to the occasional sort of murmur of quiet conversations and clinking flagons is suddenly drowned out by someone making a loud boast or getting excited, or one of the girls laughing in the most fake fashion that you get at very inebriated hunters.
So I look across at this drow female and moon elf male, still keeping my more refined accent that I from my song, and just so what brings you here other than the coronation, lurking in the shadows?
Chat, I want you guys to let me know. Would you pay for a late night with Tall School? Would you pay for that radio station right now? I'd pay for that. I'd subscribe for that. That should be. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. School,
get those sending stones out there. A Tall School in every home.
Squall's late night radio love line, coming to you all night long. Sending a special call out to all those ladies out there with a broken heart late at night. This one goes out to you.
Start that Kickstarter now, immediately.
I'll take
the $50 pledge.
Take the $50 pledge. Yep,
I'm in.
This is definitely a thing now. So he looks at you and he chuckles and says, "We're here from the Kingdom of Ironheart, representatives for some of the larger merchant companies."
Good business to be here at the coronation on day one of a new regime, I assume.
He nods and chuckles to himself. He seems to be the one talking, but she seems to be studying you, as if watching for your reaction to every single syllable he utters.
Okay.
And he says, "Well, we had certain agreements in place with the previous king before all of this ugly business, and, well, no disrespect to someone as young as yourself, but elves tend to think past 10-year wars with little difficulty."
Understood, and here we have someone unexperienced and young. Who knows what his alliances might be?
Indeed. We're just here to make sure that old agreements are honored.
It's interesting. You say you're from Einhart.
Yes.
Merchants down in the marketplace seem to have no problems with food, as the famine not reached your borders. Are you still able to provide for yourself? Are you looking to the free fields for food as well for your people?
Ironheart is blessed with a coast. We have delicacies from the sea. We have other ways of sustaining ourselves. Though, well, we're still looking for certain supplies and honorings to old trade deals.
Yes, the sea is a breadbasket with no bottom. Times are tough, but certainly some variety of the land, of what is grown on land, is always wanted. But what else would a kingdom such as this be able to offer the ancient cultures of the elven people?
we tend to leave the remedial tasks to people who need work desperately. There is wealth in our heart for those who are smart enough and quick enough to cultivate it. And there are one or two trades that come through their kingdom that we like to ensure.
Calvin switches to Sylvan. But certainly with Lynn looking to the drow, certainly there's more intriguing business that brings you to our doorstep.
You know that the moon elf suddenly seems slightly lost.
Oh.
And looks to the drow, but the drow doesn't break eye contact or show any confusion. She leans forward, ever so slightly. What is a talented young individual such as yourself doing wasted in a place like this?
It entertains me. You never know who you might meet around events as monumentous as what is about to occur here. More than a coronation, I believe, is in the wind.
Someone of your unique set of skills and soft-spoken mannerisms could be of great use to our employers.
I am always interested. I sort of raise one eyebrow. Opportunity seldom knocks twice. So I would be interested to know of what might be afoot and how I might be of service to the kingdoms under Ironheart.
How long are you in town for?
I have a small errand that I needs attending to. Loose ends to wrap up. But we'll be returning shortly after.
She nods and reaches under the table and places down something shimmering in silver. She pushes it across the table to you.
Like, is this like silver coins, or is it something like a piece of jewelry or something that's silver and shimmery?
It looks like a silver coin, but you realize it's too bright.
Ooh.
It's too light.
You have my attention. I didn't... So in a formal way of sort of a courtly greeting that my acting skill I probably would have picked up on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
May I request who is drawing my attention?
She nods, politely gives you a simple smile, and turns as if conferring with her colleague a brief moment. I am Xenia, and this is Calorok.
Xenia, Z-E-N or X-E-N?
X-E-N-I-A. Xenia.
Xenia and Calorok.
Calorok, yeah. Calorok, sorry.
Calorok. R-O-O-K?
R-O-O-K, yeah.
Yeah, Calorok. And Calvin looks and goes, In these lands, I am known as Calvin.
She nods, seeming to give you that understanding. Give me an insight check.
Okay.
On a 21, you're pretty sure that you've just exchanged aliases, as you both give each other that look that says, "That's not my real name at all."
Yep.
But you both nod in understanding. She says, "Consider this a retainer. Tasks will follow, if you're interested."
I am indeed. And whatever, hell, I'll ask our resident drow expert what would be the equivalent of like handshaking on a deal for a drow. Is it still handshake or is it something different? Probably blood. And...
The mutual respected term for dark elves is just crossing your hands, actually one arm over the other, saying that you don't mean any threat or anything like that. Otherwise, a deal, you can sign it any way you want to. Just don't sign it in blood. So
how do you want to sign off with that?
Well, no, so I will just I'll just do the with a bow and cross both my hands that I mean her no harm and shall return.
She lounges back, seemingly content, and says, "When you return, we will find you."
I'm sure you will. I shouldn't be hard to find.
Important people never are.
Important people can often hide in plain sight. It's a pleasure meeting you. With a wry smile, Zinnia, Calrock, Brooke.
He nods, I presume you switch back to common for the...
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Actually, I switched to Elven at that point, seeing as I've got all these... I've like a bazillion languages.
Yeah.
I know them all. Between my two things, it's like, pick 2 more languages. No, 2 more. No, and another 2. I assume he knows. Oh, he's an elf. He knows Elvish.
Yeah, of course. He gives you the drow's bow in response. She just smiles and turns her attention from you to gaze around the room, seemingly concluding your business.
Yeah. Is there, I'll ask T again, is there like I know it's a matriarchal society, is there something that's basically along the lines of Great Lady or something like that? Something along as, the equivalent of saying, Madame or whatever. Something, just a female.
A parting line that's generally accepted is all victories are hers for the Spider Queen. If that's what you're referring to. Otherwise,
that'll work.
All victories are hers.
So yeah, I'd look to her and say, back in Sylvan, all victories are hers, and walk off.
Just fulfilling Tears' $50 pledge there for his school's name lighting up lines.
That's right. Right along, you asshole. We knew it happened. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely noted that she did not cross her arms to me, but I wouldn't expect a drow woman too. Especially to a man, right? A drow woman's never going to pledge herself that she's not going to do harm to a man.
No.
I know enough. T, I've been listening.
He's getting it, boys and girls.
And girls.
So on that, Calvin will go ahead and leave and head back to the drowned. The happy drowned man.
The drowned man's refuge. As you stand to leave, the announcer on the stage calls you over. Literally, you're basically walking past him as you go to exit, and he says, "Are you looking for a few more songs to sing? Because we can always use talented individuals." And he passes you a silver coin, which is unfortunately nowhere near as valuable as the one you were given by the drow.
I'm assuming there's 2 platinum that she handed me, yeah.
Yeah.
Just making sure. I didn't know if you're
Yeah,
wearing
yeah, no.
Electrum. I'm like,
Oh my god, Electrum,
Yeah.
the
the bane of D&D.
you can, but it's like, I don't know if this will translate out to America, but it's like Scottish money. Like, it's out there in circulation, but so many people won't accept it because they just refuse. Yeah, you
Bitcoins.
Bitcoins.
Electrum is the Bitcoin of D&D.
You are handed a
It's
silver
worth
piece.
a lot, but nobody uses it.
Yeah, no one uses
Nobody
it.
wants it.
He hands you a silver piece, but as he does, he passes it to you. He leans in slightly and says, "Careful where you tread," and gives you just a warning glance, not a threatening one, just a warning glance.
So, and that was little dude. I'm sorry.
No, this
Was
is
that just a
the
random
announcer.
person? I mean,
This is the guy who announced you on stage, who
Gotcha.
handles the acts and stuff.
Gotcha.
And
I'll
allows you
beg
to-
off and just say, I'll be back tomorrow. Be back tomorrow. Tip your servers, everybody, and
there's a few cheers go out as you
try the prime rib.
try the front. There's a few sort of people show appreciation to you. You get a little smattering of applause as you exit, and the air outside is like ice as you step out from this hot, smoky sort of bordello kind of dude.
Bordello, yeah, steamy warmth of the bordello, yeah.
Yeah, and head your way out into the almost icy sleet that has started to fall. It's cold. The doorman nods to you politely and goes back to picking at his armor, just bored.
It was just like a normal silver coin, yeah, that was given to me by the guy who announced me. It wasn't like anything special.
Can we just...
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I couldn't read that.
We got a
goddamn.
donation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
indeed, but I couldn't read that.
It's just the way that things are
wasn't
lined up. It gets a potion, but a drunk man wants to fight him. Something. Whoever just gave that, yeah, unfortunately, the way it displayed, we couldn't read it either.
Give me 1 second, let me just see. So, hold on 1 second, I'll see if I can grab that up again. But, yeah, you head on
It was
out.
a normal silver coin.
Sorry?
It was a normal silver
Yes,
coin.
it's
Because I'm going to
just-
flip it to the doorman as I basically just flip it to the doorman as I go out. The normal silver coin,
Yeah,
not the platinum.
he takes it and says, "Have a lovely evening, sir." Allows you to head on out.
Yep.
Okay. As
So I need to
you're
roll a potion, don't I?
walking back, yeah, we'll get. Let me just get that up.
Good luck on your fisticuffs, bro.
Boy, have fun with that.
Indeed. You are heading your way back through sort of the market area. It's getting late. There are a few people out and about causing a little bit of chaos. So Jin needs to be rolling a D33.
Slash die 33, right?
That's
No.
right.
I don't think that rolled. It's
Slash die 33.
oh 1D33. Sorry.
D33, yeah.
There. I think that actually rolled.
32, I believe so. 1 second. Just got to find the potions table in our memento. But
I've got
as
it
you're
pulled up.
walking back, oh, fantastic! As you're making your way back through town, you spot that there are a few people hustling in the street. You see sort of the classic. Yeah, thank you very much for that, Bastion. You see that he has a few bits and pieces, sort of like they're doing the shell game. There's someone offering sort of a table, sort of like outside blackjack, standing up with no sort of surrounding, just quick draw cards. And as he comes up, you see that someone steps up to you and says, "Are you looking to try your luck at something? We have, well, we're playing Wheel of Fortune at the moment.
I'm always willing to give my luck a try. You know, I've found myself quite a few shiny pennies this evening, so why not see how this plays out?
He gestures for you to step over to between two buildings. You notice that there is almost sort of an alley that leads to like a store space outside at the back of one of them. But you see there is a small crowd of people gathering there, and there's a burly-looking savage mercenary standing there with a great sword across his back, missing his left eye, with sort of heavy burn marks down his arm. That parts of his armor seem to have been melted in places. But he steps aside and allows you to walk into a small crowd of what looks like it's not necessarily the most legal of gambling areas.
Well, isn't this just an unexpected surprise to find you all boys back here? And girls, I've seen a few females in the crowd.
There's
well,
a few people who look like they're out of place and maybe sort of expected this to be a little bit more on the up and up, and they're now a little nervously looking around. But also you see that one or two of these fellas look pretty sketchy. There's a few look like they're out on the equivalent of sort of the stag do. Oh god. That was wild magic surges for everyone. Thank you so much for that. Okay, we'll get to that in just a moment. If everyone other than Squall wants to get rolling those, and we'll get to Squall in just a moment. He says it's a 1 gold piece for a spin on the wheel.
Well, hell, that's worth it. And I'll flip it up there, and I was look around to someone who's not looking too happy about this. I was like, well, you're just as nervous as a hen who has a fox. Fox just walked through the door, and but he tosses his gold in.
As he catches it, another coin hits his palm at the same time as someone else has flipped him a coin, and just, I'm in for that as well. And he staggers over to stand next to you, and this guy is sort of quite short, not a dwarf, but he looks to be human, but just not on the particularly tall side. And he's wearing ratty sort of looking clothes, but has quite a nice looking short sword slipped across his shoulders. And he says, well, what can we do? We're going for it together. The guy looks at the both of you and, well, I can give you both a spin if you'd like.
That's fine with me. I look down at him. Here, you go first there.
He walks over, grabs the edge of the wheel and whips it down, and it spins very, very quickly. Goes round, and you just, and at the bottom you notice that the wheel is got, essentially, it's almost like it's got stuff in it, like little boxes attached to each bit. Right. And the bit that comes to the bottom suddenly hits in place and opens up and falls into a little bucket, and there is something that he reaches in and pulls out an apple. And he chucks it to the little fella, who catches it, looks at him, just, you said there'd be fucking prizes. He says, there are prizes. Care to have a spin, my good man? Looks to Calvin.
And I look at the little guy trying to make me feel. I was like, hey, an apple ain't too bad in these tough times. There's many people who would give good money for an apple. And now Calvin just being super casual, because he's like, okay, he's paid a gold and he's gonna get like a ear of corn or something. Just kind of nonchalantly just goes and just kind of gives it just a bump and a spin, and just kind of like round and round she goes. Here, trying to cheer up the crowd. Where she stops, yeah, nobody knows. Gonna get me an apple or something. It's gonna be good, and I'm not gonna be as drunk. Calvin's not even trying. He's just whatever.
It clips open, and you hear the tinkle of glass landing in what is luckily not a particularly solid, it's a wicker basket. And he reaches in and grabs out a fluted bottle, glass bottle that has wrapped around it what look to be bones. It's stylized that are sort of like around the glass. Inside, it is bubbling blue, but you can see that it seems to crackle in places as there is some kind of potion in there. It is stoppered with what looks to be like a T, like a hammer that is stuck in the top. And he looks at it and picks it up and says, "We have a very lucky winner here today." And he goes to hand it towards you.
There. And so I grab it and go, "Yeehaw! Hey, folks, this game ain't too bad after all." I just start putting it in my pack.
As you go to do so, the guy who flipped the coin up with you turns, looks at you, grabs you sort of to face him, and holds the apple in his hand and says, "How about we trade?"
"Hey, Lady Luck looked at me for this one, my friend. But you enjoy that apple," and kind of gives him a pat on the shoulder.
He glares at you, takes a big bite out of the apple, and makes his way back through the crowd.
Calvin, I probably don't pay him too much. I think there's a big crowd here. I just sort of, everyone's congratulating me on a big win. I just
there's a lot of people sort of excitingly flipping
coins. A little ditty, and then I'm gonna head on my way back down the dark alley.
You step down the dark alleyway, and as you're walking your way out, can you give me a dex save, please?
I was going to say, as an apple beans me in the frickin' head. That jackass. Dex save. That's a 12.
On a 12, you just don't see him in time as he comes out, and he socks you in the face. Apple still clenched in his hand. You feel sort of the apple crush as the fist connects. But it's more of a glancing blow, as really he comes in to grapple you, and he throws his arms around you, trying to pin you against the wall, and he's going to make an attack at you, just a simple one, as he's rather irked by the fact that you have come in and does a 20 hit your armor class by any chance?
Oh yeah.
Okay, he's going to... Where are we? He comes up underneath sort of your chin and crunches his forehead against your nose, and blood just splashes out as he cracks your nose back, and your head sort of whips back into the wall. You're going to take 8 bludgeoning damage. As he doesn't seem to have drawn his weapon. This guy seems to be a bit of a brawler as opposed to sort of a knife fighter.
Right.
And you are grappled by him.
I am grappled. Here's a question. So I have my quarterstaff on my back. I believe grappled still lets you make an attack. You just can't move, correct?
Yeah, your movement is 0.
Right. So while I'm grappled, I'm like, well, hell, son, that's not very sportsmanlike like you. And actually, what I'm going to do first for my action, I'm going to, because I'm putting my bandolier is sort of on my back, sort of I got quarterstaff one way, sort of the neck of the bandolier on the other. I twang a couple chords on my bandolier and cast Shillelagh onto my quarterstaff. And then as my bonus action, I'm going to give myself a bardic inspiration. I'm going to go,
okay.
I'm going to be like, well, it's been a long time since I've done this, but I certainly remember how. Let's go, boy.
You going for a little scrap, are you?
Hey, you're the one who threw the punch apple punch. Whatever, you just hit me.
He wipes some of the blood from his face, from your nose, and seeing that you're not looking to sort of hand it over willingly, he's going to try and throw another punch into you for a 5. Seemingly a lot less confident as you now have cast magic, and also seem like he's lost the initiative, the element of surprise. He sort of swings up towards your chest, but misses and backs off somewhat.
So I'm not grappled anymore, so that's good.
Yeah, he backs up.
So, well, you're just like a cockroach in sunlight, aren't you there, boy? Not quite so confident now that you see me. And I swing my quarterstaff at him. And I'm going to use my Bardic Inspiration on that, which is a D8. So for a 16, do I hit him?
16 hits, yeah. He doesn't appear to have much in the way of armor. He's quick on his feet, but yeah, you sink that blow into him.
And with my so I do 9 points of bludgeoning damage with my buck and a quarterstaff.
Okay, roll me some. How much damage was this? Sorry.
That was 9 damage, bludgeoning.
9. You knock him back hard into the opposing wall, and he slumps, seemingly pretty heavily winded. He doesn't make a move to sort of like come at you again. He just sort of stands there, spits. You notice that he's bitten his lip pretty bad, and he looks a little bruised, and has that kind of moment where he's trying to size you up, see whether or not he reckons he could take you now you're in a proper fight.
Hey boy, I don't have any interest in sitting out here and brawling with you. I just want to go back to my bed, but I don't need you sneaking up on me again, sucker punching me. We done here?
He looks down the alleyway, and you see that the mercenary who was keeping undesirables and guards from keeping watch turns back down the alleyway, sees you two in a confrontation, reaches up for this very wicked-looking greatsword on his shoulders, and the guy also reaches for his sword on his, and then thinks better of it, realizing he's now maybe not in the best position, and once again spits blood into his hand, looks at it, looks at you. I'll be seeing you. And he takes his hand from the sword and begins to walk down the alleyway, shoving into the mercenary to exit out into the street and vanish.
As he's walking away, before he gets to the mercenary, I'm like, hey, he's like, I don't want no hard feelings here, man. And I cast Healing Word on him.
Roll me that heal.
Yeah.
Oh, some of these wild magic surges look good. And speaking of which, as you roll some healing on him, it's not 100% sort of life or death kind of threatening at the moment. So you sense sort of this magic fly out from him. And what form does your Healing Word take?
I think it's just a slight glow. I think it's sort of like it's a nice chord of music that fills the air, just sort of a nice strum, and he feels it go through. I can't remember how to cast a spell and what's it called. And I've got the spells up. I've got it loaded in. What do I double click on again to make it cast? There it goes.
How much healing is that?
It's 1d4 plus. It's 1d4 plus. 1d4 plus 5.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I can just roll it. There we go. He gets 8 points of healing, so I heal him basically completely back up from where he was.
Yeah, for what you did.
Just go. Hey man, apples ain't that bad. Lady Luck's gonna have your back next time.
He vanishes sort of without even to look back. But you see him stagger slightly as the magic sort of sinks into him to heal him, and he staggers out into the street, bumping into someone, and you hear violent words sort of chucked out, but he doesn't come up with. There's no fight that breaks out immediately.
Okay.
And as we cut off from there, can you roll me your D10,000 earlier? And your,
my D10,000 actually is rolled.
okay.
It's in there. So, and actually, yeah, we should have brought that in maybe.
Okay, let me just see. Where's yours?
It's up
you
under
draw
Laurel,
blood, though?
Yeah. It's a
If you didn't
question.
draw blood, then it
Bludgeoned
doesn't really. Yeah.
I've got that as. Oh, is that yours, not Tia's?
Yeah, no. I'm
His
I'm the
is when
3733.
Caster
I just was. We were.
When Caxter next draws blood, he suffers an equivalent wound. So next time, like, he stabs somebody, he's gonna suffer the same wound.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep that in for now, and wait for that to come up. But we cut back the others. We've got. Do you want to read out your wild magic, guys?
Sure.
A giant sequoia quickly grows from beneath the target point. So basically, a tree is going to sprout up from underneath of me and grow really quickly. So, sorry, tavern, you're fucked.
Oh, no. And that's how we lose the tavern. And for me, for 1d4 days, fires lit nearby are hot enough to melt steel.
Damn.
I just want to cast Firebolt, you guys. Is that okay?
Oh god.
I'm just glad we're finally gonna leave a tavern.
We can do this. We can do this.
Leave a tavern.
It's literally, I have to destroy taverns just to get you guys to leave. So, as you guys are sleeping, you are going to see Calvin is walking back towards the tavern. Suddenly, there is a rumble through the ground. You can see the tavern. It's maybe sort of 100 feet away, and you see that the roof splits. You see tiles sort of break apart, and you see them fall off in great swaths, landing down on the patio outside, and people from inside rushing outwards as there is a crack and glass breaks, wood splinters. The tavern does not collapse, but through the top you see what looks to be branches suddenly begin to pour out like a huge maw opening.
What the hell has that little wizard done now? That little lady wizard done.
Would everyone in the tavern like to make me a dex save, please?
Sure. This is not my fault, okay? Maybe it is.
Let's see what
Yeah, this isn't going to attract suspicion at all.
No, not in the least.
Low profiles, guys. Low profiles.
Indeed. Let me just roll for... where is he? So, a dex save for Curtis. Oh, he's got a decent roll. Curtis is knocked to one side. Like, it comes out half under his bed and flips his bed into the wall. And you just hear him grunt in pain. And let's have a quick one for our friend, the torturer.
Duran.
Duran.
Duran. I hear he's hungry like a wolf.
No.
Oh dear God! He manages
I
literally. He feels the ground shake. Take disadvantage, school. You feel the ground shake underneath you, and he manages to roll to one side and push Sarah's bed out the way. And Sarah, you and Lucy skitter to the side as the floor beneath you splits open and a huge tree trunk tears its way through the tavern, up through the roof, and blasts out. And suddenly there is cold air and dust raining down on you guys.
What is this?
is this?
You hear Curtis groan in discomfort as he's been pancaked against the wall.
Oh, Lucy will go and try to get him free of the wall at least.
Yeah, he's you managed to sort of get past the tree trunk and where it's broken apart his bed and lift him up. He's pretty badly, he's been gashed across his skull and looks like he's struggling to sort of focus right at this moment.
All right, you stay there. And Sarah, are you all right?
What? I bet this is somehow your fault. What?
I absolutely is not.
Well? Not you. She's looking at sorry, the torture guy.
The torturer.
He watches Duran reaches onto his hip, draws a sword, and very forcibly just kicks the door open, like slamming into the wall, and takes a step outside to check the room and the corridor beyond. And as that happens, I'm presuming he sees Calvin coming rushing upstairs.
Yeah, so I'm just getting this visual in my head. If I recall correctly, like the front wall of this tavern is not completed because they wanted to have a roof because of the rain.
The downstairs?
The downstairs literally is basically like a just sort of three-walled room with the whole front just open because they haven't finished it yet.
To a big patio.
And now there's a tree that comes through from underneath the tavern through all three stories.
Yeah.
So is it coming from the ground, or is the roots didn't start at her? That started in the ground and is growing up through the tavern. So we now have a giant sequoia tree through a half unfinished tavern. Gotcha.
I mean, at least they have a canopy now.
Yeah. It couldn't even be like a fruit tree to be something useful. Like,
They're gonna have nice shade.
Man.
Good shade.
So I come running up the stairs and just like, what in the tarnation has happened here? And I look right at Lucy.
What are you looking at me for? I didn't do this.
Oh yeah, because
we were sleeping.
This doesn't have magic written on it at all. Yeah.
Well, it probably does, but it's not mine.
I mean, I had a bloody blizzard tail grow up my chin the other day. Now there's a tree pumping up, and you think that it's her fault. Maybe there's just something crazy around this place here. It's not her. It's not. She didn't do it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Magic is breaking down. That's for darn sure. You know, I
and
always said this rain we've been having wasn't natural either. Seems like half the continent's flooded.
That's all things considered, that is a problem worth looking into, but maybe not right here, right now. I will put that on my list.
To get out of here.
Yes, we should probably leave. Calvin, can you carry Curtis? He took a bit of he was pancaked into the wall a bit.
He's had his bell rung pretty hard.
Okay. Well, actually, my strength is pretty crap, but I can try.
Duran sort of turns, walks back in, grabs Curtis
can I assist
roughly,
him?
and just shucks him over his shoulder.
Oh, all right, that works. You've got a use then.
Who the hell is this?
Somebody sent by Stavros to be helpful.
Ah, he don't trust us, do he? Well, it's probably not it's probably not the worst decision anyone's ever made to keep an eye on us, but well.
It's fair.
He chuckles to himself, seemingly not too worried about everything that's just happened. He just has a job to do, which is get Curtis out of here, and he marches out into the hall. He still has his sword drawn, and he begins walking along. People are trying to rush out of the tavern, and he just shoves people aside rather forcibly, not cutting people down to get out, but people get out of his way. They learn pretty quick that he's a man on a mission.
I guess we're gonna grab our shit and leave.
Well, he knows how to make a path, now don't he? And I'll grab whatever I had there in the room, and no time like the present, my grandmama said.
Indeed.
So might as well get going while we're awake. Don't think we're going back to sleep in this place anytime soon with a darn tree through our room.
No.
Looking again at Lucy.
This is not my fault. I think. I hope.
As you guys come downstairs, you find that Graham is trying to get everyone out as fast as he can. He's standing there. He is effing and blinding. Just look, stop, put that fucking down right now. As people are like trying to like pick stuff up and take stuff out with them, and he's just having none of it. And he muscles his way over, shoves people out off the patio. Just come on, move it. And is looking back at. You notice that he now can't get into his kitchen as there is a tree that has grown through sort of the doorway and sort of pulverized probably a big part of sort of the back rooms of the tavern. And he sighs deeply, looks at you guys, sees Curtis being carried out. What the fuck was that?
That's a question I would love an answer to. May I?
Well, I can tell you, it was us sleeping, and then a tree grew out of the fucking ground. What do you think happened?
That's not an explanation.
Yes, that's one way to put it.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Well,
if I may,
I say
take a
looking
bit
up
of
at the tree.
He looks at the tree, doesn't have a good answer. You best get out before anything else crazy happens.
Yes. I'm just gonna take a bit of the bark because I want to investigate this later.
Okay.
But not right now.
As you get over, he sees you cutting a piece of the bark, and he turns and grabs you. You get the bark off, but he grabs you, heavy hand on your shoulder, and just says, maybe it's a good idea to fuck off right about now, Lucy. And you can see that he's clearly rather angry, as this is definitely not natural occurring.
And his brand new tavern.
If I find anything out, I'll let you know.
Do I have time to change into that costume that I spent 10 minutes working on?
I'm going to say you can grab it, but no, you don't have time to change, like, as you're evacuating.
Okay.
A resplendent offering.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a thing. I heard a thing.
Well, look at there. Well, thank you.
What happened? I missed it.
There was a donation, but I didn't see who it was from.
Oh, magic item for...
potions.
No, who is it
Tools,
from, though? I
for
can't
Calvin. So magic item for Calvin and potions for the girls. Okay.
Well,
D33s for the two ladies.
Ooh, a D166. Ooh.
Magic item for
Fancy.
tool school and a...
There we go.
There you go. Have you got the tables up, school?
Yep, I do.
I don't have the potions table, so that's all you. I also need to look up
Yeah, I
my
got the
costume
potions
thing
table.
in theirs really quickly.
Would you be able to link them to me in the old, what's it called? The old VMix.
Yep. Yeah, the chat likes to cut these off, but there you go. There we
I believe that
are.
was donated from Wind Forest, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Much
Thank
obliged.
you!
So, what have we got for rolls?
I have a five. I
What
have
do
a
we?
five.
One.
Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once.
Sorry, I don't
know
the
I'm looking
potion
mine
table.
up right now.
Chat. What page are toolkits and Xanthar's disguise kits?
Oh, now ain't that just the sweetest thing you ever did see for someone to roll up on that table?
What have we got?
Yeehaw. Stickier than honey on a cold morning. I got me some Sovereign glue.
Oh, dear God. No.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Tell me.
Right there.
The ultimate
Sovereign
in super
glue.
glue.
Okay, so
The
you
ultimate super glue?
essentially,
Okay.
yeah, you basically on your way out, you Calvin, you see that there are some people who have brought in supplies that are sort of leaving a few bits and pieces. They're Graham is telling people not to like leave worldly possessions behind and just get out as quickly as possible, similar to in case of a fire. And you manage to find, as you sweep up a bag that has some stuff pouring out of it that looks valuable. And seeing just the right moment, you manage to slip it over your shoulder, blending it under sort of your cloak. And in it, you will find some sovereign glue, as well as some common traveling clothes and a few other simple bits and pieces.
Looky what I got here.
Oh god.
Ooh, doggy. I ain't never got no sovereign glue in no campaign before.
This is going to
Tell
be...
me what I got. I want to know now.
Potion of
potions.
animal friendship, it looks like. And I got a
I don't
potion
have
of
the
climbing.
potion table. I'm sorry.
I just
it's linked in there. You got them looked up?
So, potion of animal friendship for Sarah, and potion of climbing for me.
Okay.
Oh, good. She can talk to her torturer. Freaking animal. I mean,
Ooh, sick
You
bird.
say, Home Alone.
There we go. So you, as you climb out of the chaos, you find yourself standing there, and Squall, Calvin finds two potions in there as well, which you can divvy amongst the girls, finding yourself overcome with a kleptomatic sort of need to steal. The Kendar in you just suddenly is desperate to...
If he hands Sarah a potion without saying anything, she's gonna drink it right away. She's a kid.
Oh,
she's
gosh.
an idiot.
Sure. What was it?
She
Dear
just
Lord, what are
she
you
pops
drinking?
it like you're handing her a shot at the bar.
A drink.
And yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
she'd what?
So what do you drink? A potion of animal...
Animal friendship, animal handling,
Animal friendship. Which means
It's like speak with animals, isn't it?
yeah,
I think so.
you can cast the animal friendship spell for 1 hour at will.
Okay.
Also, it sounds gross. Muddy liquid
Well-
with fish scale, hummingbird tongue, cat claw, and squirrel hair inside. Yummy.
That is
Oh, and this
quite
is for you, and this is for
literally.
you. Why are you drinking that, Sarah? Wait, you should say.
What,
Oh
Sarah?
no!
You don't just drink potion off the cuff like that. You don't even know what that was.
What? That's how Howard taught
Do you-
me to drink and got on.
Oh. Liquor, perhaps, but not potions. Potions are magic. How do you feel?
What you mean that was a potion? What kind of potion did you give me? Am I gonna turn into a frog?
Well, I don't know. I just pulled it out of this bag. I was thinking.
Sarah
I was
doesn't
just-
know anything about magic or potions. Can't tell the difference. She's completely magic idiot. Like,
Yeah.
what?
It's
Well,
all
I
right.
feel-
It's all right.
You then turn
Let me
into
have a
a
look at you.
toad.
Just do a quick Arcana check on Sarah to see if,
Give me
if I-
give me
if
an
I get a
Arcana.
sense for how magically
Yeah,
afflicted she is.
Or maybe at what's the remains of the bottle. Can I do one on the remains of the bottle of the vial?
You can take a sip out of any liquid and attempt to identify it if it's a magical item. You have to make an intelligence check, I think.
Yeah, but you just drank the whole thing.
Yeah, it's true. If there's anything left, yeah.
If there's anything left in that bottle, it's just animal bits. Blech. So yeah, a 16.
Yep, I've got my potion from earlier. It was a good one too. I have had quite a day. I've had 2 legendary magical things fall into my lap. So thank you, chat.
Real casual like as well, yeah. We shall see. Oh no. So yeah,
I kind of like start
So
pulling
Arcana?
like cat hair from the back of my throat.
you look at on a 16. She doesn't seem to be cursed or bursting into flame or anything terrible. You don't see any trees growing out of her. She is worried that she'll sort of like turn into one of these frogs that are around her at the moment, which is weird. You suddenly realize that there's quite a few frogs that have come and congregated around
That's interesting.
Around Sarah.
I'm looking around. I'm like, we could really use a wagon. I wonder if we can find a wagon and to sneak on out of here with.
Well, since you seem to be overcome with kleptomania, why don't you go and secure a wagon for us? Sarah, you're going to be fine.
Am I going to get superpowers? Am I going to be able to fly?
No, but it looks like you're making quite a lot of friends of the amphibious kind.
As you look down, you notice there are fish that have managed. You don't know where fish have come from, but because it's actually, it's like, you know, up to your knees water outside. There are fish swimming around in this that are swimming and rubbing against your legs, and you also see that there are frogs floating, swimming around you. You are drawing quite a lot of animals to you.
On a 14, can I at least put 2 and 2 together and to have her come with me to maybe find a horse in a wagon? On a 14 intelligence?
Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, you can try and... can you...
You know, this might come in handy. She's just like a fresh pie flies.
Yes, it would seem she's making friends with animals, which is a thing a potion can do, in my experience.
Does that mean that I'm a princess because I can talk with animals?
Well, can you understand what they're saying?
Be.
I don't know. Can I?
If they assist you with the housework, then definitely.
I speak with animals.
I think it's advantage on animal handling, since I think it's what it is.
Yeah, advantage on animal handling.
Yeah.
It's
like,
okay.
Yeah.
You look down at a frog, it ribbits loudly in your face.
I think that one likes you.
It might turn into a prince.
I reach my hand out to it. I'm gonna kiss the frog. She's a cutest girl on fairy tales. Don't tell her.
Oh my god! You know what? Kiss the frog, and I'm giving her my subscription wild magic surge.
I am kissing the frog. I am kissing the frog. Let's get all the wild magic surges out of the way for the frog.
Roll me a wild magic surge, sir.
Go ahead and roll. I'm donating mine.
Slash time 1d10. 1045.
1045.
Sarah, why? Don't kiss
bring
her.
up the-
That's disgusting.
Esther hears malevolent voices nearby whispering about her doom.
You suddenly realize that these frogs, you pretty sure you can hear them.
And roll another one from Scrap.
I got a magic surge too.
Oh, God.
Granicus just
How many?
One from
Granicus is
Straticus.
burning a wild magic surge for me.
Okay, 8197.
8197.
Ooh, all coins within 50 yards double in value.
Oh, damn.
Oh!
It's a magic frog. So that's all of us, probably, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
As you guys come out, you notice that there are bags floating in the water that have sort of been probably come out of. Actually, you know what? You notice that as you look up to examine the damage of the tavern, you see that where upstairs one of the windows is broken, and there was a writing desk hanging precariously, half wedged out of the wall where it's been pushed back by the tree. And you see that one of the drawers have come out and coins have spilt into the water. And you can each collect what you're currently carrying again in coins.
Wow, that's nice. And then that was Little Cup of Joe's, yes. And then you've got one from Straticus, his patron one. So one more. 3 wishes from the frog. 1634.
3 wishes.
Some kind of magic frog. Let's see. So that's.
Perfect. Caster thinks that hi ho is a proper dwarf greeting.
I am well educated in the ways of the world. Except for dwarves.
From Scrat. So that's awesome. I love it.
Oh.
At that particular moment, Lucy, a very pissed off looking dwarven barman comes outside.
Why do you do this to me? Hi-ho!
He looks to you just furiously angry and looks around trying to find some guards as you see that there are forces converging on the tavern. Everyone give me a perception check.
Ooh.
I feel like holding a frog while a tree just grew out of the ground is probably not very wise right now.
Yeah, we're looking pretty suspect.
That's an 18 for Calvin.
That's an 8 for Sarah.
Sarah's kissing a frog.
Yeah, that's a 10 for Lucy.
Calvin,
I'm
you're
a
the
child,
only
though.
one who notices this. As you're sort of looking up and sort of at the chaos, you go to look up at the top of the tree and you realize that something is forming in the sky.
Forming in the sky?
Forming in the sky. The clouds are shaping.
Oh no.
As you look up, you see words forming. It says, think on your sins. Traitors. It is directly above the tavern.
Think on your sin. Traitors.
Yeah.
Traitors.
Do we see this at this
I don't know
point?
why that rolled at advantage. Sorry. Oh, armor. Armor. What you mean? Who do you think the traitors are?
What is that?
I point up.
That seems ominous.
Lucy, you would know that is seems to be a spell known as Skywrite.
Yep.
Well, that's definitely magic. I'm doing a bit of skywriting.
Can I look around us, having her said somebody's doing something, to see if I see someone casting or something close by?
I was just gonna ask the same thing, dude.
Yeah, you guys can give me perception checks.
It's only 15 for Calvin.
14.
16.
Wow.
You guys glance around, and there's plenty of people and chaos out here. You don't spot anyone casting. However, there's, to be able to see the portion of the sky, they could be miles in any direction.
Right. We need to get moving. Let's see if we can find a wagon to throw
we should leave.
Sleeping Beauty here in.
Curtis looks like he probably needs a long rest to.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of hoping that I can grab one as well.
Again.
As
Oh yeah, we all haven't slept yet.
yeah, you guys have had short rests, apart from Calvin. As,
except for me. Well, but if we could sleep in the wagon, basically, if someone's driving the wagon while they're on watch, then the others could be eventually get a long rest. I don't know how far away where we're going is to the what's the name of that town? I've got it right here. Right here, Farmer's Rest. Is Farmer's Rest like a day away, or is it just like hours away?
It'd probably take you 2 days actually to travel that way, but on a wagon, it'd be comfortable.
Yeah.
So, is that the plan, to commandeer a vehicle?
Yeah, in the confusion, have our little animal friendship princess go in. Hey, Sarah,
friends with a
on,
horse.
see if you can sweet talk me a horse into joining us. Maybe if they bring their wagon, that's even an extra bonus.
Sarah looks around for anything that's tied up, loose, maybe someone that was taking a stop in and out of somewhere.
Well,
Give me
I was going to say, didn't we see the stagecoach and the wagons we came in on and stuff else got parked around the back, didn't they?
Yeah. Give me an animal handling as you go over to. You see that the horse
advantage, right?
Yeah, yep. That's right.
Nice.
Sarah, you come around the corner and see that the wagon is horseless, and as you're sort of looking around to check to see if anything, you feel something butt into the back of your head gently, and you turn, and there is a horse behind you. It is ready to be. It's got sort of all the bridle attachments ready to and then it comes with you without any. It comes with you without any complaints and gets into position and carefully and probably the first time Sarah's done this, she manages to get it attached and linked to the wagon. As you guys come around the corner, she has secured some form of transportation.
Well, look at you. You are just full of surprises now, aren't you?
That's helpful.
Well, why don't we just giddy up and go now? She says, trying in her best, like, Calvin impersonation voice.
Oh, dear. Look what you've done.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear.
I look back at her and go, ain't no problem, mate, is it, governor?
This is going to be a long trip.
Yes, it is going to be quite the long march.
I will burn this entire campaign to the ground. I will do it. I'm remorseless.
I am so sorry. I opened that door.
We know we need to head north, yeah? North out of town?
You need to head south. You need to head south. It's the northern part of their territory, so you're headed for the border.
All right.
Okay.
It's the
south to the border.
New Freefields territory is to the south of you. So
right. I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought Farmer's Rest was to the north. So never mind.
It's the most northern settlement in the kingdom to your south.
Ggotcha.
You see, yeah.
Sorry, now I understand. It is the northern, but yes, okay, fine, yes, it is. So yes, we head south to the northernmost settlement in the country to the south.
Okay, so you guys head on out, and as you're coming out, you see that there is a. Oh god, the long munch puns. They're terrible. You not as good as Duran pun, but great. As speaking of Duran, as you guys come round, Curtis has been laid down in the back and he's got sort of a simple bandage covering the side of his head, which is gashed. And Duran has a moment where he hops down and there's someone comes running in your direction. You realise that it is someone you know, Calvin. It is the coach driver, whom coach you have stolen, who has come to check on his stuff and found that you are commandeering his coach. And Duran just drops down and waits for him. And as the guy sort of closes down the distance, he goes to sort of say something, and Duran just puts a hand on his shoulder to sort of reassure him, and then, quick as a flash, drives his elbow into the man's face. And the guy just snaps his head back and slumps down into the mud, and he looks around, kicks some mud over the guy, and jogs back to you guys to jump on the back of the carriage. Is Sarah driving?
Yes.
Does she slow down?
The girl that has no experience.
Hey, right now you're a good friend with the horse. The horse knows what it's doing.
I'm trying.
The horse likes you the most,
I want to try and get us out of here as quickly as possible. I mean, I didn't grow up in this area, but I know the land fairly well. I mean, obviously not the lay of the land, but what am I looking for? Topography, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
I'm well read. Would I know the lay of the land at least a little?
You guys.
I have a 6 in survival.
Yeah, you can both give me survival checks.
Survival,
and that's great. 8.
I assume as Duran comes running back up to us, he gets kind Calvin helps him into the wagon, up on the back, and he goes, "Well, that's some mighty fine reflexes. Flex you've got there." Duran.
Take another disadvantage.
How much are you regretting that name? How much are you regretting the name, Josh?
I totally don't have Google pulled up with a list of every Duran Duran song at all.
You madman.
You pick him up, and as you do,
You let me play a bard. This is what happens.
It's like having our own Sam Riegel. This is great.
Clerics.
he takes 2 psychic damage from your pun, and just winces and yeah, thanks, I think, and takes a seat, and you guys have a canopy in the back. It's still like a lot of water logging it, but yeah, it is well, terrible. It is horrible. This place is.
Let's just get on the road, shall we?
I hate you guys so much. So, with a nat 1 for your survival check, Lucy, you have absolutely no idea where you're going, but you're pretty sure you're going in the wrong direction. Sarah, you're pretty sure you're going in the right direction. Calvin, get a way in as a traveler.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me get a survival check. Sorry, I was busy looking at my list. 12.
As you are going along, you find out that basically you need to change direction ever so slightly. As Lucy and Sarah are both arguing over which direction, and neither of them are right. Once Lucy's trying to go east, Sarah's trying to go west, and you point them south, and finally get you back on track.
Yeah, I believe this is the correct way.
Well, I suppose it's a little difficult to really get the lay of the land when it's all covered in water. So, yes, sounds good. We'll go that way.
Right now, anyway, is a good way to go, as long as we're not back at that tavern.
Indeed, and the faster we put it behind us, the better, because I don't think anyone likes us anymore. If they ever did.
As you're
That's questionable.
Sarah, roll me a perception check, as you have a better view than the others. You guys in the back have
Nat 1
over the top of you. You see absolutely diddly squat.
I am just every few minutes turning and staring over my shoulder where the torturer is, just like constantly still like in disbelief that he's here. I'm trying to pay attention to where we're going, and I have no idea what I'm doing on the horse, and she's just had too much. Cannot see anything.
The horse is driving this wagon.
That one.
Damn.
We are killing it today, dude. Yeah.
Lucy.
Hey.
On a 16, Lucy, you see something the others do not. In fact, you see it and they seem almost disbelieving that you've seen it. You see what looks to be an impossibly large wolf up on the hill about half a mile to your east, that for a second looks like it's keeping pace with you, looking down at you, walking parallel, and then dashes down the other side of the hill out of sight. But by the time you get the others to look over in that direction, it's gone. And you guys are pretty convinced that Lucy is just seeing stuff, paranoid now.
I could swear I saw a very large wolf up there.
I think it's just the magic going to your head, Lucy. Things get pretty wonky.
I look at Lucy and it's like the size of the one that we found out there with those bandits who weren't bandits.
Same size, roughly? Could I tell from that distance?
Maybe.
Close?
Oh, maybe around that. Definitely not a normal size wolf.
Could have been. Definitely larger than normal. And was walking with us.
Water.
As you're
A little worrisome, don't you think?
moving along, Lucy, can you give me a history check? No, actually, give me an
Sure.
arcana. Sorry, it'll be an arcana.
You sure it's not history? Because I'm slightly better at that.
No, it's an arcana.
That's fine.
Are you
not
sure?
My rolls are garbage today.
That's,
Yep. You're
that's
killing it
almost
today, guys.
that's almost 4 nat ones in a row.
Yeah.
That is
Why?
genuinely
Yeah,
almost 4
weird.
nat ones in a row.
It's because
Goodness,
Will's not
nice.
here and he can't be laughing while we're rolling nat ones. It's a conspiracy.
Oh,
Illuminati. Roll too many laugh ones. Be laughing when you do. We get it, Will. Very funny.
Yeah, we're rolling way too many nat ones.
This is because
Thanks, Will.
Will has the special edition DM's package on Fantasy Grounds, which half the amount of nat ones. But once he's gone, it just piles all of the surplus that you've been avoiding into the game.
We're just getting all the backlash of the nat ones that have been avoided up to now. Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Oh, I can hear the evil laughter in the background. That's so creepy. Oh, Bastian, I love you, buddy.
Oh,
It's so unsettling.
That is so great.
oh not okay. Not okay.
As all of this is going on, let me just check where we're at.
So magically, I don't know shit.
No, you don't know shit, but it's unsettling, and you realise that you are essentially on the run out here, which is uncomfortable.
So, are we criminals at this point? I mean, well, I am by virtue of
yeah.
association, actually.
At this
But-
at this point, I think yeah, guilt by association.
Can I stop the horse at some point? I spent 10 minutes making a costume last episode, and that costume is a very elaborate, very detailed Crown's Guard costume, as per Danthar's new costume building stuff. So we are not criminals because I am with you, and I am a guard.
As you put it on, I look at you. Well, that is some impressive work, right there,
And
Sarah.
I flap the tailored cloak of the one that the guard gave me from a couple episodes ago. Well, I think that I look white and spiffy.
It's just one little problem.
What?
I don't think they hire
Well-
guards at your age, dear.
Yeah.
I think that you have no idea what you're talking about, and I can get us past anything. My dad was in the war. I can just copy the things that he was saying, and anyone that's in any kind of military just likes to take orders. I think it'll be a lot easier to get around than you think. Just let me do the talking. Sorry.
Lucy is really wishing Curtis was conscious right now. But
Yes, well,
I can age myself a little bit with the costume too. Can I actually make a kit check to try and make myself maybe look older, maybe like a young teenage boy or something? Somebody that would get drafted in this time of war. It is, you know, get every able-bodied man to go.
Yeah,
You're muted,
you would know that
Josh.
they don't,
Okay.
they don't hire. They don't just recruit men or boys. Girls perfectly have been drafted, conscripted. It's the way of sort of a war that has been, you know, a 10-year-long war where they ran out of initial trained soldiers pretty fucking early days. Yeah, it was difficult.
Okay, yeah, I make myself look like a boy then, a young teenage boy.
Okay. Do you have a role for that?
I think it's a check for with their disguise kit, and I'm going to ask for a dex modifier on that, I guess?
I believe I'll allow
Proficiency modifier?
Dex. I'll allow Dex.
1d20 plus 4 is 22.
Yeah, you
nice.
Oh, plus
you
my
do-
proficiency modifier, which would be plus 3, so 25.
You can make yourself look sort of like in your early 20s as you rough up your hair slightly, bring it back into a little bit more of a tidy look. And you give yourself sort of the darker eyes, sort of not like makeup. You make him look sort of yourself tired, if you know what I mean. Do a couple of lines,
a little more sunken
foreheads,
dark circles.
You basically unglamify yourself to the point where you look world weary and well traveled.
Well, seems convincing enough, I
I
suppose.
couldn't pull it off? She says, trying to lower her voice.
Dear, don't try to do that. Just speak normally.
All right,
We'll
then.
sort out a way to explain that. Well done.
Ta!
So,
Just,
with your new leader, you guys begin to travel onwards. We're going to, oldies but goldies, we're going to do some encounter roleplay travel mechanic here. So I'm going to need everyone to roll me just 1d20 real quick. And we'll go in a quick little order of highest to lowest. Starting up with Sarah. Calvin on an 8. And Lucy on a... Okay, ladies, I'm going to say that Sarah's going first as she's actually riding the cart. Very simple. Come up with a problem that... something you encounter on the road as you are heading through sort of the countryside. What skill check you want to use to try and overcome it and get around it. Could be anything. You could walk into... you could meet some travelers on the road, merchants. You could see an animal that... in your path, an obstacle that you need to cross with the wagon. Give me what skill you want to use to overcome it and roll that skill. You cannot use one that's already been used by your opponents.
All right. I want to cross some of the free-flowing water here. If it's available, something that I can push that the horse and the cart could make it across, I'd like to use my athletics to do so.
As you're
Alright.
coming along, you see that there is a big sort of floodplain that has come out, where the banks of a local river have broken and it is now gushing freely through like this valley, filling the water. And you have to sort of guide the horse through. So jumping down and wading through, you grab hold of the horse by the reins and begin to lead it through the water. Am I still muted? Can you guys
No,
hear
I
me?
can hear you just fine. I think chat's trolling you. Chat.
Are you trolls? Are you trolls?
Yeah,
Thinking.
they're just trolling.
Is he me trolling?
Roll initiative.
Roll initiative. 1v1 me. I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
It won't
Good now,
last.
thank you. As you manage to lead the horse across the water, which is frigidly cold, you're good. You're okay. It's okay. You make it up the other side, and we'll cut now to Lucy. Lucy, as you make a little bit more progress on the road, what is it you encounter, and how do you try and circumvent it?
I would say, because everything is still completely sodden, perhaps our main route is washed out and we need to find an alternate path. So I will use and hopefully not fail my history check to see if I can think of any longer abandoned or old roads or something that might be around that we can take an alternate path. So let's see what happens. 21.
21. Lovely. You come across sort of like what is essentially another heavy marsh, and it's just becoming really hard work. Sarah has to keep dismounting to lead the horse, and you note that, I mean, it's going to become a real problem. Is it fake hair? No, I actually have long hair. It is a thing. Crazy, I know. It's crazy.
This is fake hair right here.
As you're making your way through, you see that up ahead there is like this just huge plane. I'm so hyped.
Oh,
there
no.
we go. There we go.
Oh.
Lucy, it's all on you now. It's, you see that
This is real.
there is like an impassable wall that it's just going to become a real problem.
Yes.
And as you try and rack your brains, you remember there is another road. There is a road that was the main trade road that runs sort of the spine of the country, kingdom. You're not too far from it. You're probably going to have to detour. It might add another day to your travel initially, but it would stop you from ending up being heavily slowed down by this difficult terrain that you're encountering. So I presume you guys take a longer route, trying to find a more well-trodden path.
Will we be able to take times resting during this travel? How many hours are we talking about here per
You're going to be
encounter?
traveling for probably
Now it'd be about
sort
3
of a couple
days.
of hours. Yeah, you're gonna be traveling for
Overall.
a little while now. Taking it to
Okay.
Calvin. Calvin, you're up.
So
athletics
what
and
I'm
history.
thinking, since we're going to do this over multiple days, this travel mechanic is covering multiple days, is either on the first night or the second night, the rain starts again and it's pretty miserable out there. But there is a small, maybe a farmstead or something with a family there, and in order to try to convince them to allow us a place to stay, that I sort of put on a little performance for them, sort of sing for our supper, so to speak, for our room and board again, as we are traveling along, whether it's a small inn that's completely filled up and we just want to try to get some room in their stables or something else along the lines, but just sort of doing my bard thing to try to make friends and get us a place at least dry for the night and out of the weather, because
Okay, give me that performance check. As you come across a small town just on the outskirts who welcome you in, as this is made up of 3 buildings, not much, and someone comes wandering out to you. He's wearing simple clothes and heads over to greet you as you come through. Sort of he comes out of the largest building. Says, "Who are you?"
Well, I'm Calvin, and I point over to Lucy and go in. Her name is Rio, and she dances in the sand.
Give me that performance check.
God, why? Why you do this?
I'm gonna.
Duran.
Oh my god, I not won it.
You not won it.
As well you should have.
I tell you what. I tell you what.
Rio and knows that's not her.
Soul Squall, I'm gonna give you something here. Keep singing, and I might give you advantage.
Oh, good lord.
Sing, monkey, sing.
And she dances in the sand. Across the Rio Grande. I need my karaoke machine up.
I love being a DM. I love being able to just submit your players to such things.
Because I am a guards captain, the person that's approaching me. What you mean? Who are we? Who are you?
He looks at you and I'm the mayor's son.
Do I think he's lying?
Roll me an insight check.
Bang. 28.
On the 28, you think he's simple. He also does seem to be the mayor's son, and has come out of the largest building here. And he also doesn't seem threatening. He just seems curious, as if he hasn't seen people in a very long time that he doesn't know.
I put on a smile and sorry about that. Didn't realize.
He looks around. Just
I look.
Oh. Why are you here?
Just on the road, traveling, getting from one spot to another. Crown's business and all that. I try to say as friendly as I can.
On a journey.
Who's Crown?
Well, the coronation that's coming up. There's no one crowned yet, but there will be. We still have to work for the people.
He stares at you, somewhat confused. Right. Do you sing her more?
I guess I am. Her name is Rio, and she dances on the sand. Just like the river twisting through a dusty land. And when she signs, she really shows you all she can.
Oh my god, I'm so
Oh,
happy.
Rio, Rio,
This is a
dance
gift.
across the Rio Grande. Her name is...
Nice. Give me another
Wow.
performance check. The amount of nat ones in this episode has been unbelievable.
And
Pretty
that's only,
crazy.
well, actually 5 plus 11, which is a 16.
On that, I'm going to use my nat one here to resist the charms as he claps his hands in like ecstatic happiness, and he goes, wait there, and he runs inside this large building, sort of slamming the door open, and you hear him, da, and there's a cacophony of like clattering and stuff, and he comes out dragging an old-looking man who's wearing not the finest of clothes. Calvin, you actually look a little fancier than he does, but he comes out and what's going on? Who are you? And he looks like he's just been roused from sleep. What's going on? Oh. Who goes there?
I look to Lucy.
I'm
losing my bluster.
yes.
Sorry, we're travelers on the road. Our bard here was performing a little for your grandson. Sorry
Grandson,
if we've
right.
woken you.
he finds himself just flattering young one.
My apologies, but
Yes?
we were just hoping for a place to stay for the night, perhaps. If there's room.
A warm bed for the evening, huh? Yes. Waggles a bushy eyebrow at you. I'm sure we could accommodate you.
I say, clearing my throat loudly and aggressively in his direction.
He looks at you.
Mirror to Sarah.
Sorry. Is this your wife?
Yes. Yes, she is.
We are most happily married.
I mean, no
most
offense.
happily.
My eyes aren't what they used to be.
It's all right. I stopped and flirted with her the first time I saw her too. I take no offense.
I see. Well, if you're
A resplendent offering.
excited, I mean, most excited.
What just happened?
Sonic mount.
What happened?
Says I could
Calvin
certainly
gets the
help
town's
you.
most exotic mount.
I could certainly help you. Do you
Is
want
he still
some
giving us
food
trouble?
or- No, he says, do you want any food or something? We don't often have guests. If you have tradable goods, we have a few things.
We may.
What's in the cart? Looking to Calvin. Have we got anything
just looking
in
at
there?
I'm looking at
What do we have in the cart? Let's see.
Hang on
go
a
to
second.
the back.
I'm pulling up.
What are you pulling up?
Good.
Hang on.
Calvin starts playing a heavier, darker tune.
Okay.
The boys are calling on the way back from the fire. An August moon surrender to a dust cloud on the rise. While boys fall from glory, reckless and so hungered. Keeps going on. Razor's edge of trail. 'Cause there's murder on the roadside, and sore afraid the world. They try to
This is
Well then.
It's like we'll try again. Wild boys, wild boys.
A
Never
resplendent offering.
keep going.
Oh, boys. You
I never
Okay.
want Squall to
Trying to
play
do
anything but a
karaoke
bard in
over
all of our
headsets.
campaigns.
Oh god.
Like, I've got you talking, I've got YouTube playing, and I've got lyrics on another screen.
Oh, god.
Oh my
I'm gonna
god.
carry
Did somebody
it
just
over to you.
donate an underduck for me?
So we're going to cut away to later on that evening, where you guys have found that you can trade some alcohol, some ale kegs that have been brought that were being stored out back as payment, essentially, for board by the people. The guys you came in with were bringing alcohol from the local tavern, which is why you managed to hitch a ride with them. And they sit down around a table. They pull the table out. It's not much in the way of sort of food. There is some slight trouble as while they're making dinner. Dinner takes a little while, and you notice his son comes in. He says, "I don't understand. Something's wrong with the pot." He says, "What are you talking about?" And he comes out, and he comes back in awkwardly and says, "It appears my son is, well, not sure how, but he's managed to melt the pot that we were cooking the stew
Oh
in." So,
yeah!
Oh,
That's pretty good.
as slow magic surge, Lucy's any fire around Lucy just melts metal.
Yep.
And he says, "But still, we have some potatoes," and he brings out baked potatoes that have been sort of cooking in the embers. And there's not much to go around, but he offers you a little of what he can. And you sit down and all set with Billy Joe. And yeah, you sit down and make yourselves comfortable. And he says, "Well, there is something I can offer you in trade." And as it will be quite a, well, we don't often have parties, but oh, you're not the first travellers we've had come by, and it'd be nice to have additional pleasant alcohol, essentially, and the like, party favors. So there is something I can offer you. He says, "We have one pig in town. It's actually, well," his son looks kind of put out, and he says, "Look, I know you're very enamored by it, but duh."
No,
this is-
that won't be necessary. We're just stopping on through. Our bellies are white and full.
No,
Sarah
I
says,
couldn't
looking
possibly.
really upset about the idea of taking food from starving people. She knows what that's like.
Yes.
And he
Yes,
says,
you
"No,
should. You
it's-
should keep that.
no,
We're
it's
taken
fine."
care of by the crown and all. It's all right, citizen.
Yes.
Well, in which
Yes,
case,
You,
it's fine.
you were doing your part for the people by allowing us to stay here and making the place stronger as a nation.
Shakes his head. And, no, I can't let you without some form of payment. So,
Well, why don't we play a bit of a game then? If I win, then you keep the pig. You win, we'll have us a bit of a luau.
he says, "I don't gamble. I'm afraid. Look, it's quite all right. It's a good companion. And he's not the fastest, but it saves walking.
How big is this pig?
Yes.
This place is not.
I'm so sorry.
It was a donation for a mount.
It's a
the most
donation.
exotic mount they have. All they have is a pig.
The pig is the most exotic mount. Oh
Calvin's
my
gonna
God.
ride him, a big old swine.
Oh.
He already has a large
Sweet,
saddle on him, as he's apparently the chosen mount of the mayor's son, he's got a little bit big for him now, and yeah, you have essentially a boar that you have to ride. It is like
it's a
you will have
battle
to-
boar.
it's not hard or anything like that. It's got quite a mean turn of speed on him when he needs to, but he's not
He's not
necessarily
these-
most suitable.
Were these
He's not a
farmers like
combat mount, but
humans
yeah.
or halflings?
These guys are humans. You note that there are a few other people in town who will.
Please
sort
let
of
chat
say-
name the pig. Please let chat
Have
name
you
the
not
pig.
seen
Please let chat
Hogzilla?
name the pig.
Hogzilla.
It's Hogzilla, man. You can ride Hogzilla.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'll
Spider
give you
pig.
executive power
Spider
to name the pig. You know that it does indeed have essentially a net that is holding the saddle on in place. It does look somewhat like. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, well, we have a viewer decision coming on now. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is
What
the
is
perfect
the
time.
name of the pig?
Name that pig. There we go.
Name that pig.
That pig.
Oh no!
Ladies and gentlemen, name that pig.
The most important thing that has happened today. Name that pig.
Yeah.
Oh man,
What do we call our
Sir
fine
Oink-
new swine
Sir-
friend?
Sir
Chat.
Oinks-a-lot?
Pork chop.
Pork
Sorry.
Pork chop. Baconator.
Burt Battley Baxter. Yeah, I think so.
But Bobby Baxter, screw you with Fora. Screw you.
Hogzilla, man, I'm telling you, Hogzilla's a thing.
Yeah.
You go down to South
Oh.
Georgia.
Wigglywigs. Squeals a
Squeals a
lot.
lot. Piggly
lot.
Wiggly Wig.
Roadhog.
Nice. Combo number 2.
Combo
Daily
number two.
special. Piggy McPigface, of course.
Duran Duran.
Bacon
my God.
McGriggly, these are great.
These are amazing. These are
Hogger.
amazing.
Hogger.
Oh man, I'm
Well,
voting for
except for
Hogger.
Ralph
That
Lemon.
gets my vote. Hogger.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hogger.
Show me the poll. Show me the poll.
Kevin
Show
Bacon.
me the
Very
poll.
good, very good.
Kevin Bacon.
Tall squeal. Okay, tall
Tall
squeal.
squeal.
Tall squeal! Oh my god!
That's so good.
Tall squeal.
Oh man.
Tall squeal.
Oh,
Come
man.
on here. Squeal, 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 squeal.
That is just hashtag tall squeal.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
gosh. Oh gosh.
Well, Bastian, are you good? I hope. Well, can't.
I hope he's
doing all the
crying.
hard
He's
stuff.
he's trying to get the poll together, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll have
I'm
it
pretty
with you.
sure tall
As-
squeal takes the cake.
we'll see. We'll see. As
That's not a done
yeah.
deal yet, but
You guys are put up.
long-legged pig. That's an awful tall squealer right there. Tall squealer. We call him Tall Squeal for short.
There is a. There is a.
I just love.
room-
Okay, sorry. Can I just paint the picture for a moment
Yes.
Yes.
of Calvin strumming his bandolore, riding into town on top of a big old pig, just singing the ballads.
Oh gosh.
On Calvin's all night radio.
You gonna squeal
How
for me,
swole is
boys?
this pig?
Just that picture.
Okay. Yeah, I'm picturing it. I'm
It's
lost
there.
in the moment for a moment. So, is the just pull up? Where are we? While we wait for that to get all sorted as Bastian slaves away in his hamster wheel, we will cut to you guys. You get put up in a room. There we go.
Votes.
I'm voting.
I'm voting. You know, I'm voting. We don't get involved at all in our.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single vote for anything else.
Anything else but Tall Squeal.
I think this is going to be kind of a landslide here, ladies and gentlemen. You see that he's Hog Squire. We've got a made it multiple choice. There you are. So you guys are put up in a simple room that doesn't have enough beds for you guys. Some of you have to sleep on the floor, but there is a solid roof over your head, and it is not. There is a slight elevation to this little farmland, and luckily it is not too flooded. But do you guys make any small talk or have anything else that you wanted to chat to the people here about?
Wait a second. So just check in.
Mm-hmm.
Was the Underduck a boss fight donation, or was it like a something nice donation?
No.
Yeah,
well, I mean, there's two types.
So.
There are two types of Underducks, and Josh knows them, so I'll let him which
I'm going to
Underduck.
Now we'll see, and that will determine
what kind of Underduck we have. I'm not sure if I. Yeah, okay, fine. Underduck.
Okay. We really want a girl. We want a girl Underduck, please, girl Underducks.
We will have. I'll roll it now. So 1 or 2, it's a boy. 3 or 4, it's a girl. It's a girl.
I don't think.
It's a girl. So, quick description of Underducks. Think, you know how Minotaurs are like half animal body, half human body, but they're intelligent? Well, Underducks are reversed. They got the duck body and the human body still, but instead of being intelligent, they still talk in quacks. But that's it, centaur. And they still gesticulate like people, but all they do is quack. So, but they're a delicacy in the Underducks. So,
all right.
So there's like a human upper body, and you eat them.
Yeah, and it's a small to medium-sized creature. The male underducks are scary. They're very intelligent, and they try to kidnap the females to breed with, and they can fuck you up. But the females are dumb as shit, so it's fine.
Okay, so whilst you guys are, we'll cut to the back somewhat. Whilst you guys are going through some of the things that are on the wagon, you find a large egg.
Oh, it is
for a mount,
Pokemon.
apparently.
It's now it really is a Pokemon adventure.
Yeah, this just became a Pokemon adventure.
Are you
When's the next gym?
Chocopi for the next step for the whole season?
Oh man.
Who do we have to battle at the next gym?
We're on our way.
My tall
to the
squeal
Kanto
will
region.
take your Underduck any day.
I will. My
You can
Underduck
have the
will
battle.
get out of your pig.
Oh.
Okay. Pokemon's full of animals
Will,
instead.
Will's
This
gone
is what happens when Will is gone.
Yep,
This is what happens when you're gone, Will. Welcome.
Underduck, use Quack Attack. It's perfect. It works perfectly. So, as you guys
charge,
you find you find that there is an egg in the back. What do you do? Name that duck.
If it's just an egg, I'm gonna take it so we can eat it later.
Calvin, I'm going to say you're the one who finds the egg. It is a massive egg.
Well, hell. Whatever hen laid this has got to be ripped in two.
What did you find there?
It's
in
2
the
foot
wagon.
tall. It's massive. It weighs a ton.
Oh my goodness.
What in tar?
History check. Would I be able to think of what the heck this is?
I stare darkly at Lucy again.
Like she created the egg.
Why are you giving me that look?
Do you see this here egg?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever seen an egg like this before? Almost looks like magic, don't it?
Have I
you ever
seen an egg like
giant
this before?
tree
Can I
grow
do a
through an egg
check?
before?
Give me a nature check.
A nature check? Alright.
Yeah.
Boop. Oh, look at that! Another fat one!
Another one. Again.
That's a big duck egg.
I am particularly stupid today.
It's like a very large duck egg to me. I don't know how that happened. But it wasn't me.
Lucy, on
Can't
that one,
do
you're not
that with
entirely
magic.
sure that it isn't you. Like,
I'm not gonna say that though.
Yeah. Can I insight whether she's sure it wasn't her?
yeah, insight versus deception.
Alright. This is good,
Those rolls
because
have been-
look at my mod
that's a
on that one,
15.
y'all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a chance that she is responsible for this egg. He doesn't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? We could maybe trade that to the people and
No,
No,
we
wait,
need to
no,
try
no.
and grow it and see what comes out of it. What if there's a little baby in there and she hugs
Oh.
the egg?
that's not going to be a
Oh, we need to nip this in the bud right here. I start slapping on Curtis. Curtis, wake up. Curtis. Curtis.
Sarah, as you hug the egg, you hug it slightly too hard, and there is suddenly a crack. And you watch a crack runs down the side, and it runs up in that classic cartoon style of when it reaches the top, a tiny little piece of shell just pops out.
Okay, the bird sounds are creeping me out. I know they're supposed to be sweet, but
It's not okay.
Hello? Tap, tap, tap. Hello, is there
put it down,
somebody in
give it
there?
space. Put it down. Put it down, Sarah. Give it,
There
give
is
it
a kid
space.
opening
I-
a present at this point. Like,
Oh.
Lucy.
As-
Lucy, is there a dragon in there?
As you
Lucy, is
open
there
it
a
up,
I hope not.
dragon in there?
Sarah,
I don't know. Maybe?
Sarah, there is
well,
a plain-looking, strange, fleshy face that looks at you. And as it looks at you, you watch its eyes that are milky shift. And its hair changes and green eyes appear. And you watch as red feathers appear for its hair. Sarah,
it's a baby!
you look at a humanoid face that looks remarkably like you, but it has slightly poutier lips, like big
Duck
pouty lips, and it has red
Like I
feathers
just took a selfie.
instead of hair,
I see where you're
and
going
it
with
looks
this. I
up at
hate
you
so much.
and goes black.
It's a baby!
What is
The whole
that?
thing starts to like roll around. Black.
Right now, we can only see the like human part of it, right?
Yeah, you can see a humanoid head.
I go to pick up the
there's a baby
baby.
and an egg.
Roll me an
I
athletics
love the
check.
sticky wet baby.
Roll me an athletics check.
That is weird.
That's a
Nat
net 20.
That is too weird.
Nat 20, you pick it up.
I am
and
gentle with my baby.
as you pick it up,
Oh my god.
as you pick it up, it flaps, and you hear feathers rustling, and you see tiny webbed feet pop out the bottom of it, and there is a egg with a familiar-looking face with red feathers and a pouty face and green eyes and tiny little webbed feet that are definitely duck's feet.
Is that like a
Sticking out the
duck
bottom.
tail? I mean, is it like truly the bottom half is
Like-
a duck, or is it sort of like an
Yeah.
anthropomorphic duck?
Oh no!
Is it
Like,
like
you can just see
ducktails,
the
like a
legs
duck?
sticking
Like
out.
a duck.
You can. It literally. It looks like chickpea. It has. It's still in the egg shell, and it just looks around, looks at you. You watch as tiny little hands come out. It looks at Sarah, and it goes, Quack.
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 I've stopped trying to wake up Curtis. And I now
you
take
seeing
the
this?
flask off of his hip, and I am drinking heavily. I then hand it to Lucy.
Lucy's gonna take it and just
Yeah.
bottom up.
Drink the entire container.
Hi.
We're all gonna be.
I've seen strange things, but that
You,
Calvin helped me with a saying of some kind.
Sarah, do you help it out of its shell?
Absolutely.
Okay. You see that there is a tiny, seemingly flightless bird, bottom half, with a tail, which has sort of like, almost more like a peacock's, instead of like proper wings, because it has arms, you see like a peacock fanning of its feathers, which it folds into a little duck's tail, but it has top half. It is naked on the top half. And it's just
I
sort
give
of
her my
can't
tunic
really
because I've got
balance
I've got a change of clothes.
Yeah. You just help this tiny little mutant creature into a tunic. It looks down. Quack.
I look at Lucy and just go,
Quack.
That is not my fault.
I got nothing. I mean, it's as weird as a human stuck to a duck, but that's what it is. So it's nothing weirder than that. I ain't got nothing. He seems a little distressed by the fact that he has. He's like, that's like one of my. That's like a go-to. It's as weird as a human stuck to a duck, and now there's a human stuck to a duck. I just start thinking. That's
So now that Calvin is broken,
it stole my bit. He starts.
During the entire time that they're drinking, I want to be like running around with the duck, just like you would chase a duck outside of a pond. You know, like I'm gonna get you. No, now the duck's chasing me.
It runs around. It is
cartoony
like
style, like
tiny-
Duck and Sarah back and forth.
Oh my god, that was so fucking beautiful. It runs around, and like Calvin, roll me an investigation.
That's 11.
11. Yeah, you just drink. I'll let Lucy roll as well, as she's in the.
okay.
23. Lucy, you find a small manifest. You find what is labelled as omelette ingredients, destined for the next stop in Ironheart.
Oh God, they were going to eat that.
Quack,
They were gonna eat the baby.
quack.
Does it say what it is on like this ingredient
It
list?
says omelette
Like what
ingredients.
kind of egg?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's not listed. It just says omelette ingredients. It is very vague.
I thought that fishy stuff they were serving was bad, and I heard that elves eat snails too. But that is that is disturbing.
Quack.
Yes, and it seems to have. This is just a guess, mind you, but it looks like it's probably imprinted itself on you, Sarah. So congratulations, you're a mum.
What does imprinted mean?
Quack.
The first thing a baby bird sees, it just assumes it's its mother, and it will follow you around.
No,
Doing
no, Jet,
that.
no, no.
What?
Quack.
Oh, no.
As you guys are seeing all of this go on, you've had eating. You've eaten. This has all come about just after the. As you were going to sort of bring in the alcohol promised in exchange for the food, and they've agreed to put you up and give you the hog. As you see, there is a large. There is a group approaching on horseback. None of the locals are around, but you see that you're approaching. They're approaching the town. There's 3 of them. and they come riding in hard. How do you guys
this
react?
can't be good.
Oh, Sarah, put that thing away. Put it in the wagon. Now.
I pick it up and put it in the
Put that thing
wagon
right
and
back
put like
where
a
you came
blanket
from.
over its head.
Also, help
Put
me.
it back where you got it.
Roll me an athletics check. As you have been chasing it, and it still thinks it's a game.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
Oh no.
You watch as
Oh, no.
Sarah tries to catch the duck, and the duck just quack and runs.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Do I have a spell for this?
Do I have a contained duck spell?
I don't. Damn it.
I'm so fucking
I'm
done with
assuming
this
it's not a
movie.
person. It'd take hold monster, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Or yeah,
Yeah, but I don't
It's
have
a-
any of those prepared.
I do. I have hold person, but I don't think hold person's gonna work on.
No.
on
It's
the
half a
underdog.
person, right?
No, it's that whole. In fact, I think there was a big thing about this.
Yeah.
Can you use hold person on a centaur? And I think they came up with that you can't. I think Jeremy said that.
Dang. Ooh. All right, so she's unable to catch it. Can I?
Yeah.
I will cast web. I'll cast web and stick it to the ground.
Okay, what does it need to roll?
It needs to roll a dex save at a DC of 15. So yeah, I'll just.
It rolls a 5. It instantly, literally, it's running along,
Do I
and
also get stuck in the web?
you web
Oh,
its
please let her get stuck in the web.
Yeah, you may. I think it's an area. Hold on. My apologies. It's a 60 feet range.
Oh, okay. Pigeon
Well, 5 foot
9989.
cube. Sorry. 5 foot.
Pigeon 9989 donates a nat 20 to the DM, and I'm going to use it right now to escape the web as the underdog roams free. Untethered, a majestic beast that cannot be contained by your magic. Quack.
Now,
What the fuck is this
Calvin just takes another giant swing. And goes. And it was going to be a human stuck to a duck stuck to another human. This is too much. It has gone too far. And I am going
Lucy's
to
looking
cast,
longingly at that keg.
I am going to cast because this can only make matters better. Because the only thing I have to stop that duck is Tasha's hideous laughter.
Oh god. Oh god.
What does it need to make?
Because nothing's
What?
going to be more discreet than a laughing naked underduck.
What does it need to roll?
Oh my
it
God.
needs to roll a, I think it's a wisdom saving throw. A wisdom saving throw. 16.
Okay. Give me 1 sec.
Ducky, 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 ducky. I don't know why I'm cheering for the duck.
Duck.
Ducky.
I'm stuck.
Oh, come on, roll.
Duck, duck, goose.
On a 3 with a -5, this is the least wise duck. It staggers into the middle of the street. It looks at you, Sarah, and then it just throws its head back into quack, 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 quack.
Oh no. Pick it up.
Oh, no, I need to hear
Grab
that
it.
again. If I have to single it.
Oh my god. And you scoop it up, and Duck won't die. Underduck is involved into Thunder Duck. As you
Please no.
Do not evolve my duck.
as
There's still-
you guys, yeah,
There's the underduck and the upper duck. Sorry, I'm done.
it's evolving into a duck. Just becomes a normal duck. You see that you managed to scoop it up, but it seems that the incoming riders have noticed this calamity, and you note that one of them draws a sword as they come riding in and slow down. The first one, the leader, breaks away rides up to you, your group, as Sarah's wrestling the duck into the laughing duck into the back of your carriage. You there? You in charge?
Hello. Which
Who's
one of
in
us?
charge?
I am. I'm the one in charge, I say, pointing to my costume.
He looks at you and says, right, appears you have our property.
It appears this property belongs to the crown now, doesn't it?
What
I kind of
property is that
leer
exactly?
menacingly.
Roll me a deception.
Deception?
Yeah, you are lying.
Right, 5.
No.
I was trying to go in for intimidation there, but
He doesn't buy that you're with the crown. He says, right, sure. Little pipsqueak like you, look. We're here on behalf of some very influential individuals.
And those people are?
Restaurant owners.
Oh.
Kind of looks at the manifest.
So are they elves? Or are they just been hired
this
by
guy,
elves?
this guy's a half elf. You notice that the two guys behind him seem to be high elves. They don't look traditional, sort of beautiful, flowing. They look like mercenaries.
Rough and
Gotcha.
tough.
Yeah, rough and tough.
Well, let's see. Ale, omelette ingredients, that sort of thing? Is that about right?
He nods. We're here for the duck.
Oh, well, we don't have omelette ingredients, and that's all it says on here. We do, however, have a duck. But you don't put
No.
ducks in omelettes, last time I checked.
He looks at Lucy. That's fine. I hear a romantic duck is a particularly good duck. One of them just aromatic. Right. That's it.
All right.
it's
You-
my duck now, and if you try to take my duck, I'ma punch you in your face.
He,
Yes, there's that, but also it's absolutely not on the shipping manifest anyway, so we can't give you the duck. It's not yours.
fantastic. Can I see your papers? As the travelling merchants who own this car.
Piss off, then! I say, and I continue to trot our horse in our
You're
car.
gonna try and ride out of this town?
Fucking run this guy over! This is a little pipsqueak. He's not paying attention to my fancy uniform.
He's on a
my
horse. Are you gonna ram him with your horse and carriage?
I'm not a child.
just
I
gonna
am
look
a
at the other
child,
two.
actually. What am I talking
Yeah.
about? I am a child. There's every distinct possibility. I would. Has it been a week yet? No, it's only been like 1 day since we left. How long have we been traveling?
You've been traveling
Couple
most
days.
of the day. No, you've been traveling
Okay.
most
Yeah.
of the day. You've
Okay,
it's
so
been, like,
it's
1
not
day.
long enough for me to throw my tantrum yet. My weekly tantrum. So, if you don't move, I'm going to make you move. We've got places to be. Now get the fuck out the way.
roll me an intimidation.
You tell him. I was too late.
Awesome.
Never mind.
No, what were you gonna do? As you,
I was gonna throw her inspiration.
I'll allow it. I'll allow the bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
As behind her, there is just manic laughter.
16's a little
no,
better.
Bardic. It's a D8 onto your D8.
Oh, it's a
D8.
D8. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Sorry. Yeah, so, that's a 1, so it's a 12 total on the first. Yeah.
12. He shakes his head and says, "We're not going to ask again nicely." You notice the mayor has come to the door and headed back inside. Just nope. Those are heavily
Sarah
on
Nope, the heck out of that one.
Sarah looks over at Lucy like, are you really gonna let, like, she goes from that certain kind of fake officer to, like, the child face back to her, like, are you really gonna let them take my duck? Blink, blink.
Gonna look to Calvin and just.
So, how diplomatic do we want to be about this?
Oh. Well,
think we're past.
Doesn't look like they are in any mood for talking.
Agreed.
Is Duran with us and up?
Duran is in the back, hasn't weighed in on this. You notice that he's pulled up a hood and he's sat there with his weapon at the ready, but he is not getting involved. He looks like he's lurking sort of out of sight as much as he can, or like trying not to draw attention to himself.
Do I need to do an insight to see whether that basically he wants to watch to see how we handle ourselves? Is that what I'm getting from him?
Roll me an insight.
That's a 24.
He looks like he really doesn't want to be involved in this fight, but he sure as shit will be, if need be.
Okay. Hey. Now, boys, you all can just keep on keeping on. Or you can end up lying dead in the road. That's your call. You can keep on riding so you never did see a single one of us. What a bunch of restaurateurs. Bunch of elves you're running out here. They probably got some good coin. But I'm betting you're getting paid either way. So why don't you just mosey on along, or else you're going to find yourself not being able to collect any bounty on any stinking duck.
Roll me a persuasion check.
That is a 27.
Ooh.
You know the two elves backing him up sigh, and one of them says, we've got half up front. We could skip down. And the other shrugs and just says, I'm not lugging that duck back. Heck was bad enough. And they turn their horses. The guy up front looks to them, looks to you. Oh, no. That just means more for me. And you see him, that glint in his eye, and...
Can I notch my arrows?
He kicks his horse, and roll me some initiative, ladies and gentlemen. This guy rides.
Do I get a pot shot off since I caught him getting ready to...
We'll see.
Oh, initiative on this sheet is right here.
Yeah, where is it?
Got it. Nat 1. No big deal. That's cool.
I'm guessing not.
I got a 12. And gosh,
15. Okay. Right. So, who do we have up first? I think he's going first.
Yeah, I think he is.
Oh boy.
He's going to ride at you, and Calvin, he's going to go straight past you. But as he does, he's going to throw himself off of his horse. And he stands and jumps. Give me an attack of opportunity at disadvantage. As he comes straight at you, but then suddenly jumps off and puts the horse between you and him. And he tries to throw himself into the back of the carriage with Sarah and the underdog.
So at disadvantage, for an opportunity, it's going to have to be my dagger. So let's see what happens. That's a 10.
A 10 does not hit him, as he manages to throw himself into the back of the wagon with Sarah and the underdog. But that is his full action as he's jumping in, taking it round to... Who's up next? I believe it is Lucy.
It's me? Yeah, so... Alright. Well, dang. I don't want to do any of that. Gosh. I got nothing that won't hurt other people.
There's still supplies in the back there. There's also canvas over the top of it, made of wood. Your fire melts
Meal?
metal.
Can I? So he just jumped into the wagon. Is that what he did?
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna cast grease where he lands.
Okay.
Ooh.
See if I can give him a little bit of a pratfall.
Let's have a look. So
Dexterity
grease-
saving throw.
Is there a way I can like share the spell info in there?
Yeah, I don't see a way that you can do it. Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
So
I
it's
think it's
10
just-
foot square.
There we go.
Uh,
What'd you do to do that?
There was a little dice thing. Yeah,
Gotcha.
10 foot
So-
square.
He's going to make a dex save as he lands in the back. I'm going to need one for Sarah as well. And the Underdark will also try and make a dex save. This is only a hatchling. Boosh. The Underdark, what's your spell save?
15.
Oh, you watch as basically, you know how you see wildlife documentaries where like animals are covered in like oil spill and everything like that. The Underdark is just covered in like this blackened sort of oil, and it's just flailing around, and you just see it like quack, quack. As it
Sorry,
collapses.
we'll wash it off. Don't worry.
And he needs to make his. He goes sprawling onto the floor. Sarah, you managed to stay on your feet.
I am pissed that this guy is going for my underduck, and I'm also wanting to show off in front of Duran if he's anywhere. So I am going to try to, with all of my might, backflip off the cart. I'm going to use my action surge to double notch an arrow, kind of like volley, but without the actual mechanics. And I'm going to mid backflip fire and put 2 arrows into this guy's chest. So it's basically 2 actions in one.
He's prone.
Oh, so that's advantage too, right?
No, it's
Disadvantage
disadvantage.
on ranged.
On ranged.
Damn.
It's advantage on
Roll me an
on
acrobatics.
melee.
Melee. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with it.
Roll me an acrobatics. 21. Now roll me 2 shots at disadvantage.
Ooh, good.
You got this. Come on, Sarah.
I totally got this. I just gotta remember how to roll weapons from here. Short bow +1 it's not letting me drag it.
I think you double click on it.
Yeah.
Double click on
You
it.
double click on the number. On the number, I think. Or on
Try it. Got a whole bunch of double clicking going on here, not working. But it's a short bow +1, and my skill bonus is +8. So
where the bow is, you get
let's
the
roll
+8.
1d20 +8 at disadvantage. Should work it through right there. Oh,
There you
die.
go.
1d20 +8 disadvantage. There is the 10, and then again, and die 1d20 +8 is at disadvantage.
An 18 hits.
18.
Sweet.
You,
And
you
the
stick 'em.
damage is 1d6 +4.
it
Damage.
slams into him. You watch as he sort of slips down. One arrow lands a hair's breadth from your Underdark, which begins flailing around in fear. The second arrow lands in his leg, and he grunts in pain, taking it round to
Oh, you
Calvin.
skipped me. Yep, thank you.
Taking-
No, you didn't skip me. So Calvin's going to look at. So this guy is prone. Well, let's teach this guy a lesson. I'm going to cast Hold Person. DC 16 Wisdom save. Let's paralyze this guy up.
Okay. There's a -1 to his wisdom save. That's a 10.
Yeah, it's a
Not the
16.
smartest of
And
things.
Calvin just going, now I told you you should stay just right where you are. You better lay there right now and not move. And he finds himself just racked into paralysis. That means it's advantage on melee attacks, and any melee attack is an auto crit.
Okay. At which point, I'm gonna roll for this.
Yeah, all he's got to do, he can remake the wisdom save at the end of his turn. Oh, I was gonna actually. I said it was done, so never mind. I had another thing I was gonna do.
Go ahead. I was rolling for something else.
Okay, I was going to look to the other two elves, and with the pouches that we took when we sort of doubled our gold, I'm going to throw each of them a pouch with 25 gold in it and say, why don't you guys just keep on riding like you had already decided, and toss them to the other two elves.
They've, like, literally, as he charged, they turned round to come back. They both come to a stop. Both of them have crossbows pointed at you. They catch the gold purses, eye you up. You see them sort of like, that's a heavy gold purse he just gave over. Wonder how much more he's got. And then they look at each other and sigh and turn and begin to ride away.
Nice.
As that happens, you will hear from inside this little carriage, this little wagon, a gurgling sound. Sarah, you're closest.
Is my duck dead? What do you mean? No. What do you mean gurgling sound? What's happening?
Give me a perception check.
Oh.
No, I don't want to.
Oh no.
It's an 8.
An 8. You see that there is a spray of blood on the inside of this little wagon.
Look for the duck.
You climb back in.
Yeah.
You look over. The duck is flailing around on the floor. There are sprinkles of blood on it, on its feathers. As you step in, you realize you almost slip in the blood. Give me another dex save. There is also grease down. Yeah. 12. I believe a 12 is a fail, and you go prone.
I'm like falling, trying to get to the duck.
And you land next to this guy who looks at you with dead eyes. There is a heavy, sliced gash across his throat. He is laying there in a pool of blood. You hear him gurgling.
I look for Duran.
Rand's literally sat on the bench at the back. He looks at you. Alright.
Did he hurt the duck? He said, unable to keep up her tough exposition there.
Is the duck okay? He looks at the duck. The duck has a few ruffled feathers and looks like it has sustained a slight injury of catching itself on a few bits. You see 1 or 2 broken feather shafts laying on the floor, but the duck seems relatively unharmed.
All right, the duck's okay. We won.
And
What happened in there?
on that bombshell, we're going to wrap up the show for the evening before more underducks come and poor old Calvin struggles to figure out a more crazy analogy. Oh my god. I was not ready for
an underduck,
this.
There's just nothing crazier than a human stuck to a duck. I don't know what I'm going to do about this.
I think that a human stuck to a duck slipping around on some grease is pretty crazy, don't you think? Oh, wait, sorry. No, it's gone. Damn your strong accent. One episode. Damn it.
Oh, I tell you what.
I'll
It sure
tell
is
you
something.
what. God damn it. Almost made it the whole episode without copying his accent. One time.
Oh, you did. You did copy his accent deliberately at one point. But we're gonna
deliberately doesn't count. It's when I catch her when she's trying to do her English accent and she does.
And then it slips in. Yeah,
it's just a mess.
We're going to.
Yeah, it's just not the same. It's a little too wordy. The human stuck to a duck slipping in grease. And again, that's my bit. It's no good if you've actually seen it happen.
As that happens,
thank you so much for the underduck. I love you guys.
You guys are laying there, Sarah is hugging her duck. The duck is looks a little frightened and takes some calming down. Alvin, you're standing at the back. You see, laying there in the back of the wagon, Curtis flickers his eyes open and looks at Calvin and says, "What is going on?"
You do not even want to know, son.
And next week, yeah, we will all be Underduck cosplay. It'll be hilarious.
Oh God!
I'm excited. But speaking of glory, let's go around, meet the cast and crew, find out where we can find them online. So let's start off with Tia. Tia, you how was the session for you this evening?
I'm happy. We got Tall Squall, Praise, and Loth at the beginning of it. We got Underducks. We got Lucy, who's not sure if she's making giant eggs or giant trees, and it's just a poor mage just trying to do her fucking job. We miss you, Will. I'm sorry you weren't here for this shit. Yeah.
This is what happens
unfortunately, World Tree Burns is canceled tonight, guys. We got some last-minute news, unfortunately. Our Dungeon Master will not be able to make it, and Will's not around. So for those of you that are waiting around for Midgard, we're so sorry, but we will be back next week. We'll bring back the cosplays and do cool stuff, but thank you for watching around. I had so much fun on Long March today, though. So good.
Taking around to Tall School, buddy. Who are you? Where can we find you?
I'm Tall Squall. You can find me all over social media at Tall Squall. If you go to my Twitter account, you can find all links to all the different things that I do. And don't you worry. Yeah, I guess we will all be in costume next week. Apparently, that's a thing. So
we're doing it. Fuck it.
We're doing it. And we'll see you next week here for World Tree Burns. And catch up with me online for all sorts of fun and exciting things that are happening there. And until next time, come and join the wild craziness that is the Long March, because dear Lord, it's crazier than a human stuck to a duck.
It's crazier than a human stuck to a duck. And speaking of crazy, how you doing there, Jess? You sucking in nicely?
Brilliant, delightful. So next season will be the Long Underduck. I'm taking it. Yes. So it was weird as hell, and I loved it. I am Jess, Little Cup of Joe, all over the internets, on Twitter specifically, and on Twitch. And you can find me this weekend. I will be on Scraticus's channel playing Honey Heist on Sunday. So that should be interesting.
I remembered as well. You'll find me on Sunday on Scraticus channel playing a Cypher System 1920 Superheroes.
Indeed. And you can follow Encounter Roleplay on Encounter Roleplay Twitter. You can also check out some of the podcasts we've got. We've got Tomes and Tentacles, which is absolutely fantastic. Cthulhu and Terrible and Dark and Brooding. You can also find Terracloak's Pod, which is again deeply dark and brooding. I mean, if you're interested in sort of the darkness here, with slightly less chaos and craziness, it is genuinely heart-wrenching stuff. If you want something a little bit more lighthearted, check out Wonder Quest Pod, which is amazing, DM by the fantastic Sydneyak. You can find out all the details there on wonderquest.pod. And last but not least, just a quick shout out to will be back soon. Check his Twitter, you'll be able to find me. I'm Encounter Josh. You can find me online Encounter Josh everywhere, doing lots of stuff. I will be around on Friday on Grimjack's channel, doing a Firefly roleplay, which I'm super excited about with the wonderful Laura Lania. And other than that, I will also potentially be around on Scranticus' channel over the weekend doing some crazy stuff. Yeah, last but not least, and I have one last project that is coming up, which is I've committed streamer suicide of essentially agreeing to do another campaign potentially straight before this campaign, which means I will be doing a level 14
I really
battle,
think this is a terrible idea.
A level
3
14
campaigns in one day
against Vecna. For 3 hours before Long March. Then Long March I'll be DMing, and then after that I will also be in the World Tree Burns. World Tree Burns will be returning next week, so will Long March. I think that's everything. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, try not to roll as many nat ones as we rolled today, because it was an ungodly amount. It was absolutely ridiculous, and Will going to wish he was laughing here with you guys when. Yeah.
Oh, he'll be laughing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he'll be laughing, just not with us.
Good night.
Goodbye forever! Next week, Tuesday!